Too Fat to Skate is a podcast that contains opinions and ideas that you can find anywhere else on the internet. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of our show. Too Fat to Skate podcast is a audio podcast where we watch, rate, and review B-grade horror movies, sometimes A-grade horror movies, and offer our humorous, sometimes funny, always sexy commentary. I am your host, Rick.
Hey, I'm Greg.
I'm Rob.
And welcome back to another episode of our show. Let's get right into the body of our show, gentlemen. How are all of you doing today?
Hey, we're doing pretty good. How about you?
Good.
I am simply marvelous.
Good. Full, very full from the Thai dinner we had last night.
Yes, my wife really enjoyed meeting Faith and likes your guys' company. She said most people are kind of wishy-washy or kind of way to get out of it, but she really enjoyed interacting with you guys.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
You know, and I'll admit, probably in the past, I would have been more wishy-washy, but and just said, I don't really feel like going. But I'm tired of doing all that, and it's just nice to sort of, get out in the world and do things and experience things. I'm tired of just life passing me by. So it's nice to get out and just do adult things with adults,
Yeah, especially when it doesn't center around drinking or loud kind of obnoxious stuff. It's okay to do things at a slower pace and just enjoy each other's company.
And that's probably why in the past I've, tend to back out of things, because it's always good to go to a club or you go to do something loud or obnoxious with people I don't really want to see anyway. So, just doing adult things with adult friends. And that's why we suggested the movie night afterwards, and we invited Greg and his wife along with us for the movie viewing night. So we'll all have a nice good time here coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, the older I get, big crowds, unless it's at a concert or something, just don't appeal to me.
No.
I'm a little more selective about who I want to interact with and who I want for company.
It's because you're almost a boomer now.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Well, watch it, Greg. We're going to have some new shirts, OAS. Or no, wait a minute, OAF.
OAF?
What was that?
Old as fuck?
Old as fuck. Figure it out, right.
Oh, yeah. So you said your week was terrible this week?
Yeah, it's been a long week for me. Before we break down into it, if you guys want to tell your friends about us or subscribe to our channels, you can always find us on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please subscribe to that YouTube channel, by the way.
Yes, please. Please.
Ricky O is cleaning house. That's got like almost 350 views. So I don't know what
That's
it is about
good.
Ricky O. But
The week for me has been super long. I haven't really accomplished anything at all.
That's all right.
At all. Even at work.
Really?
I begged them for stuff to do, and they couldn't find me anything to do because I'm all caught up.
That's a bummer.
So I just sit there and I twiddle my thumbs.
I see your work selfies all the time, and it looks like you're not having a good time. You had to change your uniform, right? Your work shirt.
Yeah, so the thing behind that is so I work with a lot of powdered metal where we're at, and then what I do is the machines that cut these metal parts down, so they create all these metal chips. So that was getting on my regular clothes, which then I'm washing and drying and whatever, and then it's ending up on our bedding and whatever else.
Oof.
So I asked them for a uniform, and they happened to give me another. So that's my third uniform there.
Wow.
Because I went in different variations, but it doesn't matter. So they gave me that uniform, which is the maintenance uniform. I didn't ask for the maintenance uniform. That's just what they gave me. I just asked them for a uniform. I did not care.
Right.
And so I had people asking me questions. Are you maintenance now? And I'm like, kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
I'm just sick of ruining my own clothes.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. Is like, I don't want to ruin our bedding. I don't want to tear up our washer and dryer. I mean, it's not ours, but still.
It gets all over your balls.
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
The metal shape.
Like I have to rinse off every day after work.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You'd have a very organic manscaping process. You wouldn't even have to work at it.
Definitely.
I don't even have to buy a razor. The chips do it for me.
It sloughs it off like sandblasting.
And then they use the coolant as shaving cream.
So yesterday, I got to meet Rob's wife. Very nice lady. I tattooed them both. Did a really cool skull on Rob. This is what we did on him. Check that out right there.
And I found it extremely painful near the bottom of the wrist. That lower portion of the jaw just hammered me.
Yeah, you get to that lower bottom portion of the wrist, it kind of sucks.
It does hurt a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It sure does. So,
but what a finished product. And I think it's really cool that you're proud of that skull, because you fancy yourself on doing an excellent job on skulls. So.
Did you take the bandage off this morning?
I had to, yeah. It was kind of getting goopy, sloppy, and discolored. And,
yeah.
How's
it looking? How's it feeling today?
Really good. Years ago, I had an artist named Smooth. He used to tattoo from Ultimate Arts, and now he's up in northern Wisconsin. But he recommended always running it under cold water under the faucet.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't waterlog it.
But cold water supposedly doesn't seep color, and it helps like with swelling or pain discomfort.
I think cold water helps with swelling, but I don't think it has anything to do with the color or anything like that. No,
but then I just dry it, and I always put on a light coat of Aquaphor, and I do that maybe 2 to 3 times a day just so it stays moist and doesn't get dry and flaky.
Yeah. You can do ibuprofen for the swelling, and you can also do like a cold compress if you want on a wash rag over if it bugs you that much. But
I did do that last night. I actually used an ice pack over a towel when
feels
I was still wrapped up. It does.
Yeah, it feels a shit ton better. So.
And my wife got the kind of Rick's version of Jenna Jameson's Heartbreaker tattoo.
Yeah.
So it turned out really nice.
First time meeting your wife, got a tattoo her butt.
Yeah, what an intro! You can't really top that.
Yeah, well, that's just part of the job.
It's part of the experience of being a tattoo artist, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and it's one of those things I just don't think about anymore because I can't focus on it. Like I don't want people. They're coming to me and they're putting themselves in a vulnerable position.
And she was very comfortable at your shop. I'm not gonna say names, but she had some piercings done years ago by a now closed local business, and she was not comfortable. So thanks for having a very nice environment.
You can't be that way with people. You cannot draw attention to it. If someone is like disrobing, you gotta make eye contact with people unless you're working on an area, and you can't make a thing of it.
Yeah, you can't make a big deal out of it.
So you got to normalize it. It's only nudity. It's only a body. It doesn't matter. You can't point it out. It's going to make someone really uncomfortable and really upset. And they're going to have a bad experience, and they'll never come back.
And especially if you don't know that person.
Oh, exactly.
You can't make a big deal out of it or whatever. Like, I remember when Erica tattooed my butt. Mm-hmm. And she kind of joked around with me a little bit, but I knew Erica at the time, so I didn't really care.
Mm-hmm. Well, your butt's burned into my brain.
Favorably, of course.
Of course. So, okay. Well, any news this week?
I have a couple of things. Is it all right if I kind of launch into it, guys?
Go for it.
All right. Recently, we had the tragic passing of longtime Rolling Stones drummer Charlie Watts.
He I saw that.
Joined the band in 1963, so in his 58-year tenure, him and Keith Richards and Mick Jagger are the only members to appear on everything that they've put out. Mm-hmm. He kind of had a gentlemanly style behind the drum riser. He kind of did the old-fashioned jazz with holding the snare drum stick sideways. So Rolling Stones, definitely not a hard rock band, not a very fast tempo band, but he kept excellent time, and he was a good foundation for the rhythm and blues style of music that they've put out for decades. So
still a very legendary band.
Absolutely. Yeah. So rest in peace, Charlie Watts. And their tour is going to continue with, I believe, either a drum tech or some type of band associate named Steve Jordan. He's going to fill in for the dates on their 12-stop U.S. tour, which I don't think is coming any closer than Detroit or Minneapolis. But it's a big arena tour, which, no surprising, it's the Stones.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Charlie. Tragic passing.
I never saw the Stones. Did you ever see the Stones?
No,
never. I was a big fan of their older stuff, but I never really kept up with it.
I didn't really actively listen to them a lot, but if they were like on the radio or whatever, it's kind of like I'm not gonna change the channel. Of course, you knew some Stone stuff, but
I mean, a lot of their stuff I really like it, like "Gimme Shelter," "Paint It Black," "Satisfaction," and so there's a handful of their songs when they come on the radio, or I'll listen to them, and I love them every time. But a lot of their stuff is just didn't really hit the mark for me. So
best use of a Stones song in a movie is probably "Jumpin' Jack Flash" with Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Jumpin' Jack Flash.
It was great.
Yeah.
Isn't there even a joke in there? And she's like, "Mick, what are you saying?"
Yeah, she's listening to the lyrics, trying to figure them out. I saw that when I was a kid. Hoop Eye was pretty big back then. She's hilarious. She's really funny. Always been a fan of. Well, in the 80s, I was a fan of her. Not so much anymore. I don't know. I've never watched the shows or anything she's on now. But, of course, her 80s movies and like that really bad dinosaur movie she did, that Theodore Rex. We got to watch that one of these days. Have you seen that?
No, I
No.
think of her, I think of Sister Act and
Yeah.
Sister Act 2. That was
Yeah.
kind of the peak of her popularity, probably.
Yeah.
The early 90s comedies.
But some of the more unknown comedies they're way better, super funny. She's got a filthy mouth and it's hilarious.
And the other thing I have is last week I talked about the murder hornets and the cicadas, so I'm going to kind of add something similar to that. Did you guys know since 1970 through the years 2017, mosquitoes have counted for $149 billion of damage with diseases, management costs, and whether it's malaria or yellow fever and all that stuff. Now, here's what I'm predicting. Now, it has no facts to support it. It's just pure paranoid speculation. I don't think that they're going to like being out of the limelight since 2017. They are going to latch on with these murder hornets and cicadas, and they are going to wreak havoc on a biblical scale because they've been ignored for a few years. That's not going to sit well with them. So the only thing we can do is we have to get electric bug zappers on every city block, and we have to have a program to use foggers in all rural areas probably once a week. We need to combat these invasive species and do everything we can. Otherwise, they're going to kill us all. There's going to be nothing left. They're going to find a copy of mosquito. They're going to hybrid. They're going to mutate into something big and more destructive, and our way of life is going to end.
That's a very grim outlook on mosquitoes. So in other words, mosquitoes are the least sexy of the insects.
Least sexy.
That's very grim.
But
ruined my day.
But they do three.
Way to go, Rob.
Thank you. I'm just doing what I can with what I have. Thanks to help. You bet. But they do 3 times the amount of damage of like rats or feral cats, or who would have thought? And they can cross-contaminate other species because they don't just sting us. They get on livestock and all kinds of other stuff. Mosquitoes, a very, very big problem, people. We need to do something about it.
Write your congressman.
Yes.
Yeah, write your congressman.
Write your senator.
Yes, please do.
We need teams patrolling the streets on mosquito duty.
Well, that's all I have. I wanted to have a little something funny there, kind of after talking of Charlie Watts. So there we go.
A little doom and gloom for us.
Yeah, I only got one. Yeah, I only got one little thing since last week. From what I've heard, that OnlyFans has reversed its decision to ban pornography on its site.
Yes, now you can feel free to let your OnlyFans.
So they reversed that decision real quick. They must have been feeling the heat.
Now you can do whatever you want with your Goosebumps narrative.
I have
no limitations.
I have subbed to you on OnlyFans. I'm proud to pay you every month. $20 a month. I'll pay it.
Hey, I'll pay friends supporting friends. We gotta support each other as OnlyFans.
That's right.
Well, this week we're going to do something a little different. I'm tired of the action movies, and Rob and I were talking last night about maybe just doing a different thing, a different movie, and I decided to do that. We're just going to do a different movie. We're talking about just doing Death Wish 3, just getting it out of the way because we're excited about it, but we're not going to do that. Today we are going to, as a surprise, we are going to watch The Fly Part 2.
Oh, excellent choice.
You were talking about The Fly 2. Have you ever seen The Fly 2?
I haven't seen The Fly 2, no.
Have you seen The Fly 1?
I have.
Okay, good. So The Fly, 86 Fly with Jeff Goldblum, my favorite horror film of all time. David Cronenberg classic.
Gina Davis was in there with him. Yep. Body
horror. The two met on the set of Transylvania 65000, which is also one of my favorite films of all time. Not a show I would watch, not a movie that we would review on the show because there's just not enough going on, and that's a movie you want to watch on your own because it's so quirky, it's silly, it's funny. One of my favorites. So watch Transylvania 65000 on your own, and think about in your minds the romance between Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. But The Fly 2 is directed by Chris Walas, who was the effects coordinator, I think, on The Fly 1.
So they kept it in-house a little bit.
In-house. And it is a back-to-form true monster movie, whereas like The Fly 1 was a visceral horror film, body horror, drama, romance. Just an amazingly written film, amazingly made. David Cronenberg, of course, mad genius, creative genius. And
a tragic tale of technology went wrong because he has this portal where I'm not sure if it's time travel or teleportation. But a fly unintentionally gets in there, so when the process goes through, its DNA gets linked with Jeff Goldblum's, and Yeah, it kind of transforms into a hideous beast.
He turns from the sexiest man alive into
yeah.
that creature.
I think the fly made him sexier because it was after that he started doing.
He started loosening the V-necks a little bit, and he started showing off the chest hair,
the sweaty chest hair.
Yeah. Started posing.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a commentary track of him reading the script like, wait, I'm not going to be attractive anymore. Oh, wait, yes I am. I'm going to be quite delicious.
Mel Brooks. Brooks film made The Fly 1. Not everyone knows that. Mel Brooks produced The Fly 1.
I had no idea.
Comic genius, Mel Brooks, yeah. So definitely The Fly 2. We're going to watch The Fly 2. And it's just a back-to-form classic monster movie. Not, the greatest, but at the time, I loved it. When I was a kid, I used to draw the little monster all the time. I thought it was really good. It was very gory, very cool. So if you're watching at home, find out where The Fly 2 is streaming. Maybe, I'm not sure where you can watch this one, but it's worth picking up, buying on DVD or streaming service just to watch The Fly 2. And
starring Eric Stoltz as the lead character.
And Princess Vespa, right?
Oh, no kidding.
Daughter of King Roland.
I wouldn't know if she's in this movie. I've never seen it. So
okay, yeah.
Another Mel Brooks reference.
Yeah.
But if she's in it, I'll recognize her right away.
Yeah. So here we go. If you want to watch The Fly 2, you can start watching it right now.
Just call 1-800-DRUIDIA.
Yeah. I love Spaceballs.
Oh, I know.
Here we go with the classic.
I love that intro screen.
Yeah, it's great. They fixed it from the older version in the 70s. The zero looked off.
Kind of tilted or something?
Like tilted. It was oblong. It was real weird. This is one of the films I saw in the theater when I was a kid.
The first time I watched it, I picked it up on DVD probably in the early 2000s. I snagged it at Walmart because my dad liked the original. He liked a lot of the sci-fi monster movies.
Right. Now, this Bartok Industries that we're seeing here is the company that Jeff Goldblum mentions in the first Fly movie, the company who funded his teleportation things. He essentially was building a telepod for that company, and he did like parts of it, and he had other guys farm out other pieces, then he would assemble it, and no one actually knew what he was working on. In other words, it was very compartmentalized, very much like the Bob Lazar UFO stuff that he talks about. Did you ever listen to that podcast with the Bob Lazar?
No, I haven't heard of that, no.
So this lady's belly is rippling, so I'm thinking this childbirth is going to be a monster. A fly hybrid?
If you remember at the end of The Fly, Gina Davis talks about how her character is impregnated with the fly, and Jeff Goldblum rescues her from the doctor's clinic and takes her out. Of course, a very stoic-looking bad man, our villain here, Mr. Bartok.
Yes, of course, he's watching from the safety of kind of a surgical amphitheater, high in the balcony looking down.
How much did he pay for the balcony seats?
Oh, that goes with his parking space.
Ooh,
he just gets it free of charge.
Free of charge, yeah. He's got to pay $99 a year.
She gives birth to this really horrific-looking, I don't know, looks like a sesame chicken or something.
It looked like a shrimp.
Like a shrimp.
Kind of reminds me of like a Pumpkinhead when it comes out of like that stump. Remember the witch raises Pumpkinhead?
I have not seen that for so long. That's one we got to watch on Halloween. Pumpkinhead is a classic.
That would be a nice choice.
Have you seen all the three Pumpkinhead movies?
No, I have not.
I think in the second one,
that's the one where they call it Blood Wings, right? Like there's a reference to an old college fraternity, and a lot of them are like judges and mayors or local businessmen and stuff.
I think it was like a deformed boy or something was teased and killed in the very beginning, and then he turns into the movie is about vengeance. Sorry, that was my phone fell out of my pocket. The movie, I think, is essentially about vengeance.
Yep, if someone is wronged, they can strike a infernal bargain with this local witch who can raise the Pumpkinhead. But of course, the people requesting it always kind of become the instrument of their vengeance. She doesn't tell them that. There's
some yogurt coming out of this sesame chicken here.
Is this like a sack filled with flies?
There's actually, I won't spoil it for you, but when you see what...
Oh, it's like it's coming out of a cocoon.
Really cool membrane here. Really cool practical effects here with just a little baby.
Oh, and it's just a baby.
Just a baby.
That was a weird little sack it was in, though.
Yeah.
It looked like a thing of shrimp or something.
Yeah.
A giant shrimp, like she gave birth to a giant shrimp.
I'm just going to assume that was a cesarean.
You know what? They
It was
didn't
like
show
bigger
her.
than her. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't show them cutting into her. So
Eric Stoltz, of course, was the original choice for Marty McFly in Back to the Future. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
They filmed the entire, I think, like 90%, if not more, of that movie with Eric Stoltz as Marty. And they had to reshoot all of it, like at the very end, 0 hour, because the film, it just wasn't landing. I think he did a fine job. It was just too serious, and it wasn't like with the tone, in step with the tone of the film that they wanted.
was it one of those things where they're putting it forward to test audiences and they just weren't connecting with it?
I think that, and probably the producers as well.
Okay.
You know, maybe even Spielberg himself was like, yeah, this dude, I mean, he's good, but
Yeah, because there's a part of films where they might show a section of the film to a limited number of people,
right?
And if they don't like it or whatever,
yeah,
they might change it.
Sure.
Yeah, they do like a test viewing pre-screen.
Yeah,
and that could be, yeah, probably. That's probably more likely what it was. In fact, if you guys get if you have the Back to the Future trilogy on Blu-ray, or do you have on DVD? Do you have the set on DVD?
No, I don't.
That's a classic. If you ever get that, even the old DVD, the original one that came out, like 20 years ago, if the one with the special features they talk about that. In fact, I think there's even one shot in the film of Eric Stoltz's shoulder or something, and they had to pay him for it. So
nice,
of course.
So. Eric Stoltz is great, though. I've been a big fan of his. All the John Hughes movies that he was in. I think maybe just one, but
how pissed would you be if you got that far into like recording a movie and then all of a sudden at the last minute, they're gonna replace you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
I would be pretty pissed off, right?
I would be pretty insulted, I think, but if I got paid my full salary for it, I guess it wouldn't be too bad. But
well, yeah, he had to get paid. You know.
Well, I also I think I'd be more upset that I was excluded from like one of the biggest films of all time.
Well, it's one of those things they probably didn't know it at the time, but if he's looking back,
he's using historical hindsight.
He's like, holy shit, this is one of the biggest trilogies of all time.
Right.
Like, come on. Seriously.
We should call up Tom Selleck. He might be bitter because he was originally cast as Indiana Jones.
That's right, he was.
Yeah, but sometimes it just takes the right person to bring out that character.
Who's sexier, Tom Selleck or Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
See, I'm going to go with Tom. I think that mustache in combination with the red parrot shirt is almost hypnotic. It's just alluring.
Tom Selleck. All right. 1 for 1 there. All right. No problem.
Well, you have to break the tie. You can't just ask the question and skip out on it.
I'm a conscientious objector.
You're a conscientious objector.
That's absolutely fine. We can revisit that on Death Wish 3 when it comes out.
Oh, so okay.
I don't have a problem with Tom either. I don't know. I love Harrison Ford. So,
ham salad. I mean, Han Solo.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the film here, catch you up to speed. This boy is only about a year old, I think, and he looks like a 4-year-old.
Looks like he's like 5, yeah.
Yeah, and they showed this little computer graph of him growing at an exponential rate, and that's the thing, is he's got this genetic abnormality that makes him grow age very rapidly. So you sort of wonder how that's going to play out.
And they're doing like a simulated daycare home setting where they can watch and track and progress everything and monitor everything. And the old guy from up above is now interacting with him, doing like the old quarter behind the ear trick.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Truman Show, but like the Fly.
But with the Fly.
But with the Fly. So.
Yeah, that's a little toddler. That's no 1-year-old.
And here we go. Cut to, he's 10 years old now, maybe 11, and he's doing some. He's gonna be doing some science experiments here.
If I remember correctly, I think we're tracking the progress of Eric Stoltz. I think.
Yeah. This is Martin Brundle is the character's name. Of course, Seth Brundle was his father, the Fly from the original film. And this is one of the titular bad guys. He looks like a smarmy prick.
He kind of looks like the character from the Reanimator movies.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he does. Of course, I think I have that set right here on the desktop here. I might have maybe it's over on the shelf, but we do have the Arrow version of the Reanimator trilogy in-house here. which would be cool to watch. Just showcasing how brilliant this kid is supposed to be working on all this stuff. Here's one of his inventions. He looks like a really cool
Boba Fett kind of hybrid.
That's going to be the new Robot Ninja.
Oh, that's the Robot Ninja, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be the new... Oh, maybe the new, yeah.
Yeah.
I have it from a reliable source that Robot Ninja is going to kick the crap out of Rodor for stealing his visor.
Seriously. Yeah.
Maybe this kid can become Rodor because Rodor was just a guy.
Oh, look at that. He's having fun at the scientist expense.
Was that pee, you think, or was it Y? It'd be better if it was pee, wouldn't it? Pee-filled...
I'm kind of surprised you took it that way, but now that it's out there, there's no going back.
Who knows?
You never know.
Whatever his kink might be.
Oh, well, just as like a pee-filled water balloon or something. No one ever did that. I was the only one that threw pee water balloons on people.
Thought never crossed my mind. I can honestly say that. But if I come down here and I see
I thought I did some terrible things with like emptying sodas on people and shit.
Oh, did you do that really? I never did it, but I just.
Yeah, that's not so bad in comparison now, Greg.
Yeah, no.
Like throwing actual like just regular water balloons at people. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I hope I don't come down here and never see a glass coffee table. Then I'm going to say, Rick, let's
yeah, no.
We'll talk upstairs.
No. No, I never did anything. I was too nice of a kid. That stuff always happened to me. I always got picked on.
Oh yeah, bullies. Oh, yeah. Especially when we were in school, that type of stuff happened, and it was handled differently.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Nobody gave a shit.
No. Whether you were sat on top of the water fountain and it looked like you peed your pants all morning, or they tried to sit you in the trash can, or gave you a Melvin. Hazing was, I don't want to say a rite of passage because that's probably not the right analogy, but
it was ritualistic. That's for sure. It was.
And the older ones almost seemed like they had a right to do that. It was just part of the process, and I don't know why. But
yeah, it was terrible, and the teachers didn't care. I remember middle school just being cornered by asshole bullies and yelled at and picked on, and teachers were standing right there. They didn't do anything at all. So
back in our day, it wasn't a problem unless a punch was thrown.
Well, any teachers at Edison Middle School in the early 90s, I will find you.
You're on the list, Rick's revenge list.
This kid just like hacked their whole computer system. He's like 12.
It's the 80s.
Yeah.
So you can hack things earlier in the 80s.
I know what I was trying to suggest. He has a helmet that looks like Ant-Man. This is where
there you
idea.
There you go. Good call there. It does look like Ant-Man.
And he stole the helmet back. Now he's crawling through the air ducts, which are way too huge, like because he's crouching.
And they're spotless too. There's no dust. They're immaculate.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it would be really cool if they had an alien just start chasing him around. But that'd only be if it was in a parody, right?
Those air ducts had to be like 3 foot by 3 foot, like a square of. That was way too big.
I could have crawled around up there.
You should, yeah. John McClane was crawling around up there somewhere. I ran into him up there, I think.
Oh man, I love Die Hard.
That's great. Great film.
What do you think Christmas time? Do we watch Silent Night, Deadly Night? Do we have like Santa Claus hats and have some mini candy canes and stuff?
100%. I think that should be, the Christmas season will be all Christmas movies.
Black Christmas, maybe?
Yeah,
Who knows?
We'll get some terrible Christmas movies in here.
Yeah, definitely Silent Night. You could probably watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. But you can cut out the first one because I think the second one is 45 minutes of the first film anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, so by watching the second, we're actually getting the fourth movie in.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
You'll get that Hellraiser 2 treatment where they play almost the whole last act in the beginning of the movie.
They do, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like almost the entire last act is played in the first part of the movie.
But the final scene, one of the final scenes, the final shot of Frank is probably one of my favorite shots in all of the Hellraiser series.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think my favorite shot from I call it the birth of Frank.
Oh,
and when the blood drips into the floor and then you see his body like come out of the floor.
Definitely.
And I call it the rebirth of Frank. If you've ever seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Definitely.
But it's absolutely beautiful.
What a cool shot. All practical effects. I don't know if it's like wax or how. I think that was like a melted wax.
I think when I
figures. I can't remember.
Listened to the commentary on it is they did it in reverse.
They did it, they did it in reverse. I wonder what they made. They melted whatever it was, and they just had it run back together. So.
It was probably like wax or something.
It was really cool.
But it was a really good effect.
See, I like a lot of that stuff before CGI. Like the original Nightmare on Elm Street when Johnny Depp gets sucked into the bed and then the blood shoots up like in an inverse waterfall and goes all over the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's just cool to hear how they, I don't know if they reverse the image or how they edit and splice it, but some of those things just look amazing.
Definitely. Now we see young Martin Brundle, who has found one of the test animals, a very good boy. This looks like a very good boy, a golden retriever, a yellow lab. Looks like a golden retriever.
Looks like golden retriever.
He's found this little boy, and
they're just chilling on the floor.
What a very nice thing. He loves this dog.
And he touched a insect terrarium there with his hand, and the flies stuck to the exact pattern of his hand.
I remember the shot of his head coming down from the duct and that fly shot in the trailer, the original trailer of the film. What were we talking about before that?
Oh, Hellraiser a little bit.
Yeah, like the wax figure, maybe melted wax
the practical
when it comes
effects.
Out of the floor.
Yeah, so
old school practical effects. Yeah, basically.
Well, one thing I learned this week, I listened to a great podcast with the director of Neil Blomkamp, director of District 9, and they were talking about how they would do plate shots, like matte paintings and Alien and stuff like that, where they would have like a static shot. They'd put the camera like on a tripod, unmovable, and then they would paint like the background and then shoot through that. So they would have a landscape in the background.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what I'm saying? So like they would have like the space back. You can put anything there, like a castle, or if they had like part of a castle, the bottom of a castle, they would just paint the top of it. And so they did all the Frankenstein Universal effects back then too.
Yep, big drop down backgrounds and stuff.
With they shoot through the painted glass. Really interesting. That was some of the early practical effects.
How many guards are sleeping? He just broke out again, and they showed a second different guard who was sleeping at his station, like not paying attention to anything.
Right.
A lot of themes in these movies from Rodor and also Chopping Mall and other stuff. People who are assigned to watch or monitor certain areas just don't seem to get too enthused. They drift off. They look into other things. So yeah.
Well, that's really good at some advice for you, Rob, if you take that security job, is to never fall asleep on the job, because you never know when a monster fly is going to walk by. Or
exactly.
a killer robot.
Or if the robot security system run amok.
Yep.
Yeah, it would probably bother me for maybe up to and including a few hours.
Yeah.
If I was responsible for that.
Up to a few hours.
No more than that. I mean, it's done. Can't change it. Time to move on.
After it's time to clock out, okay, I'm going to go home now.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I got to be somewhere else.
Here's a big reveal of the telepods from the first film. Of course, there's two of the telepods in this giant bay here unloading the test animal. Of course, it's Martin's animal. He's very upset about that.
Golden retriever.
He has no idea what's going on because he's never seen these telepods before. And the third telepod was destroyed at the end of the Fly One. The not the prototype telepod, but the other telepod, because the prototype had the bolted door that wasn't.
Kind of swung like on a big hinge and stuff.
He was trying to get the dog's attention by like knocking on the window and waving at him. And
these telepods are a very iconic mid-'80s image associated with these movies, with the clear door, and they often have like a green bright light or something that precludes the transformations. No, I don't. Okay, come on. You don't need to test it on the dog.
They've painted the inside like a copper color, as the other telepods were like just this white paneled. I like them better, actually. This is differentiates itself from the original, but if you'd like, I have painted digitally painted.
I was about to say, didn't you like draw
a telepod?
The telepod from.
It's one of my most favorite images of all time. So if you'd like to buy that, you can head on over to our TeePublic site and look up Fresh Bones.
So we see a static of pinkish purple lightning, and now the dog has disappeared. And I think the plan is to open the other one, and then the dog is going to walk out.
Right.
But this is the first test animal, so something's got to go wrong.
Of course. Well, I mean, you know that it is, because
or something's going to be right. It's either or, because they're going to mess up at some point.
I think the dog comes out and it's vicious, like in The Thing. It's like a monstrosity.
The kid's anxiously awaiting the arrival of his friend.
There's
the monster dog.
Cujo, Man's Best Friend, and John Carpenter's The Thing.
That's terrible. And they have mutated the poor... But he got his revenge in the end by ripping off the asshole doctor's
couple of his fingers.
Yeah.
There's no way that kid is 5.
Well,
He's actually 5, but he looks like he's 10 or 12.
This is him now. Here's the reveal of Eric Stoltz, who is a 30-year-old man. He looks like
He just turned 5,
He
but
just
he's
turned
30.
5, but he's 30.
Yeah.
So
Or like 20.
now, yeah.
Can you guys see that happy birthday banner over the door?
Yeah.
My mom has had one of those, and ever since I've been old enough to remember, she puts it up for me every year for my birthday.
Sure.
That exact same design, color scheme, everything. So
Awesome.
that to me is irreversibly linked with happy birthday. So I hope to keep that going for not necessarily 41 more, but a few more.
Very wholesome. Well, we hope you live for another 41 more birthdays.
Yeah, next Wednesday I'll be 41. So good Lord.
Good Lord.
Hence the skull,
Woo.
early birthday gift.
There you go. Happy early birthday, Robert Cop 2. Happy early. What are you going to do for your birthday?
You know, I'm just really plain Jane. We're going to go
Mhm.
into Stoughton. We're going to cook some hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill, probably have some chips and beans and maybe
Nice.
some strawberry shortcake for dessert, drink coffee.
Beanie weenies are always good on the birthday. Definitely.
Oh, like the little smokies and the barbecue sauce?
Sure.
Sure. Anything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm a big, I'm the only one in the house who loves beans.
Oh my gosh, bush beans or something? I absolutely, I can't get enough of them.
There's a really good YouTube channel of this guy. He's a cowboy, and he's got this. Have you watched the cowboy cooking guy?
No, I
You seen that
haven't.
guy?
No.
He's like this old, like, and he has like one of those prairie tents, and he's out there with his cauldron, and he's making everything. He makes really good beans.
Oh, sure.
So they've set Martin up in his new apartment, and this is his 5th birthday gift because he's a 25-year-old, 5-year-old.
Yeah, that's so weird. He's like fully grown.
Yeah, it's got pubes.
I do like the mid 80s design here. It's the sunken living room. Everything is kind of a lot of pastel colors here with the drapes and the wicker furniture is the worst. Burn that shit.
It looks exactly like the Golden Girls' house.
It really
It's
does.
very reminiscent of Blanche's apartment. Yeah, if Blanche would have an apartment.
I always kind of liked Dorothy. I liked that she had this really kind of sarcastic, cut to the bone, insulting type of stuff.
Oh, they're all great.
Oh yeah, and then Betty White is Rose, always not knowing what's going on. She's the recipient of a lot of this jokes and jabs because she's just so clueless.
Without even thinking about it, sexiest Golden Girl.
So does this kid mature at an alarming rate too, or do you think he has like the mind of a 5-year-old?
That's a good question.
I think his mind has to be progressing too because when I was 5, I was happy to color. He's making helmets and he's navigating like.
I'm just saying
systems.
because
That's true.
if
That's
you've
true.
if you've ever
Like emotionally, you mean?
if you've ever seen the Twilight movies or read the Twilight books,
Only you have.
only I have. I know I put myself through that,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
but
Voluntarily.
their point is, whatever age they get turned at is what age they are mentally
Oh, I see.
forever,
Lame.
So if
which
they-
is weird, right? So Edward was 17,
So he's perpetually.
so he's perpetually 17 for 100 and something odd fucking years.
Well,
He never grows the fuck up.
Which is different from like the lore of, say, Interview with the Vampire.
Where
with,
you would learn from your shit and go on, no matter what age you are. It didn't matter.
just
Like,
stuck emotionally. Well, then
yeah.
you're
I
oblivious.
mean, you're just stuck physically at that age,
Right,
but not
right.
mentally.
You're
You're you're fucking 300 years old. You know?
but not in the Twilight universe.
But not in
right?
the Twilight
Right.
universe.
So, yeah, and then
But I'm just saying, because this kid has grown so rapidly, he's only 5 years old, so he can't be like comprehending everything. They're like handing him his own apartment. How is he going to take this?
he actually in the film, he's fine with it.
Okay.
He's very like, but he still has a naivete. Like in other words, he believes everything that this guy, Mr. Bartok, is telling him. Like he looks at him as like a father figure. It's the only father figure he's known.
I kind of got that a little bit.
Yeah. So he does believe when he says, "Oh, this is your independence. We want to get you out of the lab, so you're not like a lab rat anymore."
he's gullible in that sense.
Yeah,
He
he's
hasn't learned
gullible,
about human
trusting.
cruelty.
But he
Yeah.
doesn't know anything else, because this is basically where he's grown up for the last 5 years.
Correct.
Now, this is his whole world inside this building.
Correct.
Everything.
Yep. So
Yeah.
he is sheltered in that way, but
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean he is like naive, I guess, emotionally or like stunted. Everything within him is growing. In other words, he's not stuck at 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
So
not. He's not.
That's a good question, though, Greg.
It is a
It's
good
good way to
question.
look at it.
It is. Of course, a lot of these So you remember in the 80s, the body switching movies like Father Like Son and vice versa with Fred Savage and Judge Reinhold
How about the horror movie Body Parts?
with Jeff
Or like
Fahey?
Freaky
Yes.
Yeah.
Friday or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where they would switch from like a 30-year-old or whatever to a 16-year-old or what's the isn't
Big.
there
Yeah,
one
yeah.
with Rob Schneider? Oh,
Was
he
there-
did Hot Chick.
That was Hot Chick.
How about
Yeah.
Big with Tom Hanks, where he's still
There's
little, but
one.
he gets in the
Yeah.
adult
Yeah.
body?
I think,
Anyway,
I
yeah.
think that was the first one. So they had they had Big, and then you had 18 again with George Burns,
Yeah.
and he switches with his like 18-year-old grandson.
Well, what a trip that must have been. So
Yeah.
is the grandson smoking cigars and
Oh, he's
telling
got cigars and shit.
really
He's
dry
like a-
one-liners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's like Father Like Son, Dudley Moore, and Kirk Cameron.
I know him from some type of sitcom. That name sounds
Growing
familiar.
Pains.
Growing Pains, sure.
Yeah.
Now he's like a big old like Christian, like hardcore.
There's the man right
conservative
there.
There's the man. So of course they brought Jeff Goldblum back for I think just this little shot, or this may have been
Stock footage from the
stock
first.
footage, cut content. I think this could
Yeah,
be
it looks-
cut content.
Looks like it was from the first movie.
But his hair is longer. His hair is a little different. So I
Yeah.
thought that maybe they brought him back briefly, or they did a pickup shot.
Who knows? Yeah, it's a little bit different.
But the voice in this is supposed to be Gina Davis interviewing him, but it's not her voice.
Maybe
they
she didn't want to
get
do
her.
this one.
They didn't get her approval for this one. But yeah, so
But somehow they got Jeff Goldblum.
somehow they got him. But I would say back to the body switching movies. One of the best movies, the weirdest ones, is Corey Feldman, Dream a Little Dream. Do you remember that one?
I never watched it, but Corey Feldman is so hit or miss with me. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, so I love Gremlins. I like Lost Boys, and then he was in Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Yeah, dude, he was the best in 4. It's my favorite
Absolutely.
one. It's my favorite one. But he and Corey Haim, of course. And then the best part about that though is Corey Feldman has a Michael Jackson dance routine where he does the whole spiel.
Yeah, yeah.
What an amazing! He switches bodies with Jason Robards. So like, just the weird, series of Hollywood movies they had back then with these like iconic actors switching with these.
Oh, and Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, and
That's not a body switching movie. That's more of a status switching movie.
oh yeah, okay,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Identity, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
more of like a.
So is this the same kid who's testing out the pods here?
Yes.
Is he growing up a little bit more?
Essentially, they have turned over all research and development of the telepods to Martin, and his thing
His
was
genius brain.
he's like, yeah, your father started it, so only you can finish it because we clearly are idiots, and the 20 guys can't.
Yeah, he's
figure
like
out how
6
it
years
works."
old,
Yeah,
but he's in a body of a 30-year-old man.
right.
This is how Kelvin saw himself from the Kelvin and Hobbes comics.
Essentially, that's very true. Yeah,
He perceived himself as the 6-year-old multimillionaire and the spy and
So he-
spaceman Spiff.
Right.
That's up.
So for the people who are not watching, he tested it on a telephone, like an
Right,
old
right.
school telephone,
right.
Yep.
which is the right move. Like,
Right.
why first? You should start small when you're testing the stuff that you don't know before you move on to living creatures. Why did the other people test out with a dog?
Yeah,
Like,
they
they
could have
coulda
took a
tested
phone
out
book.
with, like-
Right.
Like an apple or
Exactly.
like a something stupid like that,
And there was the a little first glimpse of our antagonist there, the head security guard with the stun gun,
Mm.
the little smarmy stun gun guy. I wonder if he's going to be a problem later on in the film.
I remember certain visual scenes of this, like when obviously the fly transforms and somebody's hand gets bit off or something like that. Something with the shotgun.
Ooh, boy, those fingernails on him, man. You need to trim them back, son. That's bad looking. It's a bad look.
Oh, how cute! She's fly fishing in the Fly too.
Ah,
Oh, that's so clever.
okay, fly fishing. Okay.
Yes.
Well, she caught herself a 6-year-old man.
See, now we're going to see his lack of maturity because this is going to be painfully socially awkward to him. He has no kind of real exposure to interacting with females.
Princess Vespa, the Druish princess.
Yeah, there she was.
Making her appearance, lovely. Daphne Zuniga, looking lovely.
Not bad. That's not bad for Rambo. I remember she has a trunk that carries her hairdryer.
Yeah, classic. Love that movie. Unfortunately, they didn't do anything else with it except for the Spaceballs, the cartoon. Which did you watch that?
I did not even know it was a thing.
They had a
Me
cartoon.
neither.
Yeah, they had a cartoon. Maybe 10 years ago, if that. No more than 10 years ago. unfortunately didn't do much.
Too much time had passed.
If that movie came out today, it would be a huge
Oh, I'm sure if they did a
franchise.
sequel now, it'd be okay.
Oh my God. Could you imagine a reboot? Spaceballs
They
comedy?
don't even have to reboot it. They just start with Spaceballs, a sequel, a search for more money, and then all of a sudden you would have a theater full of people.
Who would play Barf since John Candy's passed?
Yeah, they probably would make it a really woke version of Spaceballs, which is PC and probably not very much fun.
Rick Moranis was so good in that movie as Dark Helmet.
They would have to find the right people to play those roles though, or somehow come up with an entirely different storyline within like the same kind of universe where you're not following the same people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or you could do the Han Solo storyline where, like, you know, he has a son and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the next generation.
the next generation. You'd have to have
almost.
that, because I would love to see Bill Pullman's return as what's Lone Star.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to your two best friends, and I don't mean your pals in the Winnebago.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, so now he's bringing a cactus in here, so he's going to test it on a cactus now?
Here's a good shot. Yeah, this movie is definitely...
She looks scared. She looks terrified.
This movie is definitely bigger in scale. The first Fly, I wouldn't say it was low budget, but it wasn't not low budget, but definitely lower, not as epic as this one looks.
Because if I remember right, Goldblum did a lot of his testing at like his home flat, like his own home lab and stuff, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I seem to remember a lot of stuff like with him at home with his computers, and he's taking notes, and he's kind of a little bit of a hermit, kind of.
Oh, you mean like in the actual film? Yeah, he has a one of those apartments I always dreamed of having when I was a kid. You know, one of these like big loft apartments that you see in the movies.
Oh yeah, so cool, like an old
big windows,
top floor of a warehouse or something that got converted.
What they don't tell you is like that would be a nightmare to heat and like
and cool,
keep cool, yeah, and like rats and roaches and things, because you know it could be terrible.
Wouldn't be good for me. I'd hate it.
So they've mutated this cactus by teleporting it. It looks like something out of Borderlands.
Yeah, it does.
Kind of like a cross between a bonsai tree and a Venus flytrap.
Yeah, something really grody.
Looks like the giant, almost like Venus flytrap or something that's gonna eat you.
Yeah.
He even put his name on his own computer monitor.
That's how you know.
That's how you know someone doesn't actually put it in their pocket and walk off with it. You know, a big CRT monitor.
They know not to look for his porn history.
Yeah. He's browsing Lone Star's OnlyFans.
Oh, jeez.
In the lab. But a lot of cool shots. A lot of shows kind of how big and sprawling this building is. And what's more impressive is they actually have these locations to shoot.
I think a location, in my opinion, is almost as important in some cases as the story. Like if Star Wars didn't have that big intergalactic scope or all these exotic locations, the story doesn't hit the same marks. Or like if the Temple of Doom looks like it was filmed at Big Lots here in town, it doesn't have the same feel either.
Well, it all just depends. So like the first movies in a series usually don't have as much of a budget until they're like a proven commodity. Like they can prove that they can draw.
Sure. Yeah. Then they want to
and
turn
then
it up a bit.
once they go to the second movie, that's how they spend that money a little bit, and they can ask for more money. They'll be like, "Well, we did so good with the first one. Just think of what a second one could do." Mm-hmm. So they raise the budget, and everything else gets raised for that.
Now, Rick, maybe you know, since this is the end of the '80s Fly movies, was this received poorly? Did it not do what they were hoping? Do you know why it never took off after this?
It just. I don't know why. Maybe I think it probably did really well on cable. What happened? Oh, there we go.
Just a little buffering there.
A little buffering. I was concerned that was gonna.
It's doing it again.
We're buffering again. Of course, we're in the basement here. That's probably why I get a little buffering sometimes on this. I just think it probably maybe didn't get as much distribution, but I know it was a huge hit on cable. It did well on cable, and then, well enough later on Blu-ray. I'm sorry, on DVD to get definitely a couple of special edition releases. So it is a fan favorite, a cult classic.
Oh, she just broke the syringe off in his arm, and it's stuck in there, and it's kind of spraying blood.
Yeah. But I think it just wasn't up to the same, dramatic quality as the first film. Although it is a very enjoyable movie, I think it is.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy to read too much into these. Just take it for what it is. Enjoy the ride. If you like the movie, great. If not, oh well. Try not to overanalyze it too much.
Maybe as this kind of a leading man, like an action horror star, Eric Stoltz doesn't really hit the mark all the way.
Did you ever see Anaconda?
When it came out, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did okay in there, but that was Jennifer Lopez's first movie. Ice Cube is in there. Owen Wilson is in there. John Voight, F. Murray Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't think he has kind of the charisma to take it all on his own shoulders and run with it.
He does really well on these like undramatic roles, or as a leading man, I don't really see it.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say.
You
Like,
know.
I think he was good in Anaconda because he was one of many.
Well,
He's getting a lot of screen time in this, obviously.
As an ensemble cast, he's great. Like, I love him. Pulp Fiction is his greatest role he's ever done.
What was he in there?
He was Lance. He was the heroin dealer. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
He was like the long hair Lance.
I do.
He's great in that.
I'll have to rewatch that. It's been a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
But he was good in John Hughes' Some Kind of Wonderful. Great film.
Yep.
Yep. He was Keith in that movie and fallen in love trying to get the girl.
Is he falling in love with Princess Vespa here?
Oh, definitely. They're fly fishing because, of
Yeah,
course,
they're
fly.
dancing and they're fly fishing.
Dancing
And
the
She's teaching him how to play with his fly.
they're eating. They're eating together,
beautiful shot.
spending a lot of time together.
Yeah. Beautiful shot. Nice use of angles across the floor there. Lighting. This movie looks very nice.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
lit well. Shot very well. Looks good.
I kind of like when they do a lot of close-ups like this. It almost seems like they do that all the time for a lot of dialogue-based stuff. It's just real close in on the actors or actresses.
Well, you have to.
Well,
And
if you're paying attention to how they're shooting it a little bit, like they're shooting him to make him look a little bit taller and her a little bit shorter.
Uh-huh.
They're all using angles for that. They do that on purpose.
Yeah.
But it's shot very beautifully.
It looks very nice. It's a very nice looking film. Whereas like you have movies, like Rodor, that is just
It looked like it just shot like straight
Oh
on.
my
It didn't really
God.
have any angles. It didn't have much else going on for it. They were just like, just shoot it as is and didn't throw anything special at it.
like the framing in this scene makes a lot, because when you shoot that wide scene like that, you show the sprawling party and then you close up on him to see sort of like how awkward he feels.
Yeah.
He's feeling kind of claustrophobic in this big setting.
Yeah, he feels very out of place. He's an adult, but he's still very immature. He doesn't have experience.
Somebody didn't watch Duel.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah, that's a really good thing about that movie because the pacing is a little slow, but the way that it was shot,
The way it was shot was just beautiful.
It was
The wide shots with the spanning,
Mhm.
just
like
like
the
scenery
close-ups with
and
the
then
tailgating and
yeah, then you get the
twisty-turny
real
mountains.
close-ups and then
Yeah. It was very repetitive. I think that movie would have done well as like a 30-minute short if you just would have
Yeah.
cut. You know what I mean?
Yep.
yeah, they would
It would
have
have done really well.
showed a little bit in the beginning, then showed the car sequence until the end.
But yeah, it was just. But I mean, again, the time that movie came out,
It's a 50-year-old film,
it's
Yeah.
so
Well, it wasn't that old, was it?
No, it's-
71.
71.
Yeah.
It's 50 this year, isn't it?
Yeah, because
Wow.
Jaws was 75, so that was 71.
Wow. Of course, Eric Stoltz, here he is. He found his. Let's see what he finds here. He finds his childhood friend.
Finds the dog. It's
Finds
still alive.
the dog. Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Mutated mess.
He's crying too. Yep.
Oh, wouldn't you?
Poor doggo.
I would feel terrible.
I would have
Finding my
been
dog
upset
like
for
that.
for the first time.
Yeah.
This would flip the old switch on me where I'd have to go take care of some business.
That is some gory practical effects they got going on here.
Yeah. This poor
I wonder
mutated
if
dog.
that's a puppet.
Oh, it's definitely a puppet. Yeah, in the special features on the DVD Blu-ray, they have all the puppets and all the
Yeah.
stuff like that. And what a terrible.
Oh, you just-
terrible
you-
I mean, you can just kind of tell, but it's not like obvious.
No,
But
but it is his
if you're
arm.
paying attention, yeah, you can notice that it's a puppet.
And they have I think it's one of those things where they have like they shoot it with a fake floor
Yeah.
that's lower in the back, and they have someone's arm so up this way, so when you shoot it, you don't see the dip down, and you have the arm in there, and they control it that way. Something like that.
I always liked listening to Tom Savini's commentary about how he set up stuff for all his practical effects, because it's all kind of like a magic trick. Well, we want you to look over here, but you're not really seeing what we're doing over here to make that shot work.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I'm addicted to film commentary. And if you out there, the viewer, likes film commentary, my favorite film commentaries of all time, number one, definitely One Crazy Summer with Savage Steve Holland, Bobcat Goldthwait, and what's his name? Louis Armstrong, is that his name? What's his name? Curtis Armstrong.
Oh, yeah, Booger.
Booger.
Revenge of the Nerds.
And One Crazy Summer, only because Bobcat Goldthwait is like one of the naturally funniest guys I've ever heard in my life.
I totally agree with you.
Even when he's not in character, he's just being Bobcat. He is so funny, that guy. And when you listen to that film commentary, it's so entertaining.
Yeah, I like the Bob and Tom radio show, and they play some old segments of him on there.
So
And he's
funny,
like,
man.
I was the White Snake of comedians in the 80s.
He's hilarious. And then the Boogie Nights commentary, I love, with Paul Thomas Anderson. Great commentary. Just him by himself is really good. Also, Bloodsucking Freaks with Eli Roth, an early trauma commentary. I love Eli Roth. Really is a horror lover, a horror fan. So I watch all of his movies to give him a shot, because
I got to back off here. Sneeze.
I know how much he loves horror. So I'm a big Eli Roth fan. Bloodsucking Freaks commentary is great.
I think the last one of a movie that I watched, because I watch a lot of commentaries for TV shows.
Okay.
But the last movie ones I've probably watched were like some of the Hellraiser ones.
Oh yeah.
When they kind of explain what they're doing, which is why I had learned that the Frank scene was shot basically in reverse.
Sure.
So, it's been a long time since I watched any commentary. Yeah, Clive Barker in
that's
there.
cool. Awesome.
That's part of the reason why too, because I love Clive.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
Did either of you see Midnight Meat Train?
Yes.
Oh,
I love it.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that. It's real good. I'm a big fan of Clive Barker. We have the Hellraiser Scarlet box in the desk here. All the films, all the original Hellraiser films. I don't think it has like the Inferno and all that nonsense in there, but I have not seen those.
Well, it probably suffers from some of the same things that many franchises inevitably do, is they get a little long in the tooth. Kind of hard to stay original, kind of hard to recapture.
No, after you get through Hellraiser like 4, it doesn't really matter too much anymore, because they become direct to DVDs basically, and what most of them are these stories that were written for one thing, and then they splice in Hellraiser afterwards.
Of course, yeah.
So then they suffer from that.
Yeah, definitely. You have these repackaging that they do.
So I think he just euthanized his childhood dog.
Very emotional scene here, where Eric Stoltz's character. Oh, here we go. Nudie.
Who didn't even have to pay for the OnlyFans.
Oh, looks like
get it for free.
Yeah,
that's the same pose that Goldberg.
Goldblum.
Yeah, not Goldberg. Yeah, the same kind of side view where his thigh and everything.
Are you saying you want to see Goldberg nude in that telethon?
Goldberg couldn't pull that move.
You're in a horny jail. Rob went to horny jail.
No. I just had a slip of the tongue.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind seeing Goldberg transformed into a disgusting mutant, though.
I wouldn't mind seeing Goldberg transform into retirement.
What is with? And no one likes him anymore. Why don't they like Goldberg?
He's just an old man. He's like 60 fucking years old.
I don't like him.
Even in his prime, he wasn't even that good of a wrestler. He just had a lot of intensity.
Yeah, that's what really counts, though. Right?
I'll summarize it up right here. I don't like him for a lot of the reasons I dislike the Ultimate Warrior. It took more time for him to get to the ring than what he actually did in the ring. He essentially walked in there, wouldn't sell anything, spear somebody, jackhammer, in and out, in and out, in and out. It's the same thing over and over.
That works for some stuff, right? But that became a hindrance for him when he went into WWE later on in his career, and they were trying to have 20-minute matches with him to solidify him, and he couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up with guys like Triple H or whoever else he was having matches with for 20 minutes, because he was only used to going 5 minutes in a match.
Yeah, he never had the opportunity to work like chain wrestle or back and forth matches. It was basically they had him squash everybody until they had him lose.
Yeah.
So he just didn't. He never developed.
And
that
then
type
after
of
he
moveset.
lost, he took that so personally, and then never recovered from it.
How can you take it personally if it's a WWF?
Because he was a
match?
complete
It was in
mark.
It was in WCW when he started believing his own hype.
I see.
Like he was a big shot, fucking big deal when
Mhm.
he really wasn't. Like
Yeah, I watched.
it's fine to have somebody lose, but I compare it to Asuka. So when Asuka lost at WrestleMania, and I'm okay with her losing,
Mhm.
but then it's the pickup. Where do you go from there?
Mhm.
Okay, she
Mhm.
lost a match now, or he lost a match, Goldberg lost a match, or
Mhm.
Asuka, whoever. If they're on this big winning streak,
Mhm.
if you lose a match, you got to go be like, okay, let's not try to do that again, and then go back onto a dominant streak until you lose another match.
Right, right.
And I watched a shoot interview with Hall and Nash, and they're talking about how when Goldberg came into the industry, because they worked in WCW, they're like, hey, we know where all the gyms are. We know where the airports are. We know where all the hotels are. Why don't you come with us and we'll kind of show you the ropes. And he was just like all standoffish. Well, no. And Scott Hall goes, maybe that idiot is still at that airport waiting for his bag.
I
Who
think
knows?
I did hear that. Yeah.
And they're like, I would have been over a lot more if they never would have broke the streak. And they're like, you were such a stupid mark. The longer you kept it going, the less we could do with you because that's all you had. We should have ended it a long time ago to work you into some storylines and some feuds.
They broke the streak to work him into a storyline, and he didn't care for it.
Now we have Martin Brundle here. He's going
to test it on a cat.
He's going to test the teleporter technology on the cat, but
this is his technology. So did he change these machines a little
bit?
He did.
He's been working with them for a long time now.
So he is you trust him because they just sold that emotional scene of him euthanizing his dog. So now you're going to trust him. Oh, we get a little
What a little cut.
Yeah, but I just been the
perfect
buffering and the thing. And the
perfect
little kitty. Little kitty.
Oh.
And the beautiful girl and the little kitty there.
That would tug on my heartstrings if I had any.
If you had any. Yeah.
But I don't.
Your cold policeman's heart.
Cold policeman's heart.
You become cynical.
Yeah,
I bet, dude. I bet.
People will find a way to disappoint you on a daily basis.
I can imagine. You just see like the worst of humanity every single day.
Yeah, and it's not always necessarily like the death investigations, right? To drag someone up a flight of stairs because they hung themselves in the basement. Because that comes with the badge. You know that shit's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the 60-year-old neighbor that can't leave a other neighbor 2-3 houses down because their grass is too long, or they're burning garbage, or their trash has been at the curb too long, or they're not supposed to have a bulk brush out until the third Tuesday of the week. Just shut up.
Yeah.
If you leave him alone, he doesn't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just stop. Just quit it.
Yeah.
And they can't. That is a trait among so many people. They just have to stick their nose where it doesn't belong, and it's repulsive.
Well, it's people who are control freaks, right?
I don't know what it is. It's just they get too vested, and a lot of it is the retired person. Maybe they don't have a hobby, maybe they don't have enough to do, so they start worrying about stupid shit, and then they create problems. And it's all reciprocal, right? The neighbor finds out that so and so called it on him, so then he's going to call on them to get them in trouble. It's just the cycle that just has to be stopped. It has to be just put out right now.
Yeah.
And that's what you say. You say, I want this to stop, or you're both going to get a ticket.
Would you guys consider the scene that was just going on pedophilia?
Oh, that's a really good question because he's
like
only
7?
5.
Yeah.
He's only 5.
Yeah, his body has matured, but mentally, no. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Mentally he's grown up too. You can see that mentally he's grown up as well, but he's still only been alive for 6, 7 years.
But he has the body and he has the body of a man. I don't know. It's a good question because look at are you a Star Trek fan? Did you guys ever watch Star Trek?
I don't like William Shatner, but
like Voyager.
I remember Voyager. I remember Deep Space Nine. I remember The Next Generation, but I never really got into it too much.
There's a female character on the show, a female alien who had the same affliction, where her race, it's something where she aged very rapidly. So I think she may have even been younger than that. She looked like a fully mature woman, but she may have only been like 2 or 3 years old. And she did have a little naivete, and then she had an interspecies relationship with another alien on board, and it was like, okay, but she's like 2 or 3, you know?
Sometimes just the writing choices seem a little weird, don't they?
Yeah, it made me really kind of uncomfortable. I don't think they ever really addressed it, but like the thing, but I don't know, it was weird. So here we go. This is showing how Martin Brundle is going to get rid of his genetic mutation by teleporting with. Basically, he's gonna use like a cleansing thing and take his mutant DNA out and putting it into another test subject. But he has to essentially teleport with another person in the pod, and then they come out together.
See, because now we're showing that the site of the injection where the needle broke off, he is not reacting well to it. So he's having some. I think these like sharp little proboscis type hairs are going to come out of there, like an actual fly, like the prickly hair.
He's got some goo going on.
He's got some goo. Yeah, it's really cool practical effects. Very gross. They did tie into the body horror, some mozzarella cheese coming out of this wound.
He didn't need any lubricant for the scene earlier. He just pulled it out of his arm.
That looks like dried super glue, folks.
Yeah, it probably was.
It was probably cotton. It looked like cotton.
It looked like cotton and
some kind
like
of batting.
glue.
Now he's starting to get really upset with the scientists. So he's wanting to know probably what's going on with his body, why this is happening. So he's probably going to figure they've been lying to him all along, and then we're going to get set for the big confrontation.
That doctor looks like a serial killer Dennis Nilsson.
Oh, yeah.
He looks a lot like him, doesn't he?
Yep. He does.
Real creepy.
That's something I should bring in sometime, my encyclopedia of serial killers. We can talk about some lighthearted subject matter then.
Yeah, we should. I've got a big true crime section in my garage. If you're a true crime guy, I've got some serial killer encyclopedia stuff, and
I think I got a couple books at home.
A couple books at home, yeah.
Yeah.
Phil Carlo wrote a really good book about the late Night Stalker Richard Ramirez.
I might have that.
Yeah, I really recommend that one. Then he also wrote about the Iceman Richard Kuklinski.
Yes. There's the great HBO documentary series on the Iceman.
Oh,
three-part series.
Yeah.
If those interviews don't scare the hell out of you, I don't think you realize who's on the other end of that camera. I do not think he's putting on a show there.
You got to wonder, though. I mean, like, he got a lot of time out of prison. I mean, not out of his cell to sit and interview with these people. He could have told them anything. However, he did, I think, was indicted later on for some of the stuff that he admitted to.
Yeah.
Other crimes. But he could have told them anything for years. Of course, he died a few years ago, but...
Yeah, and I think it was suspected that he was poisoned because there were some mafia guys that were going to be coming up for trial that he had an affiliation with in the 80s. And I think I don't know if he was going to testify, but he had knowledge that was probably not going to be helpful to their defense.
Wow.
And of course, he died while he was in prison mysteriously. He was always kind of a very big, robust kind of guy.
He's a big dude.
And he got this sudden kind of acute sickness that was consistent with like arsenic poisoning and cyanide poisoning, stuff like that.
Jack Ruby after he killed Oswald.
Yeah.
Very similar to that. Jack Ruby always said someone gave him cancer in prison. Shot him a needle full of cancer in prison. It's possible. He died right after that, you know.
Somebody else already had like cancer and.
Well, they say that they could have irradiated him or shot him full of who knows what in the 60s, you know.
Yeah.
I remember a movie from the early 90s called Ruby. I never got to watch it, but I remember seeing it at the Video Visions, the old VHS box.
Yeah, I was a big JFK conspiracy guy. I still am, but in the 90s, that was one of the first. That was the first conspiracy film I saw. I became obsessed with the JFK stuff I came out when I was like 12.
Yeah, because Kevin Costner was in there.
Donald Sutherland and a huge all-star cast. Oliver Stone, of course, huge all-star.
Joe Pesci too, right? Wasn't Joe Pesci in there?
Yeah, it's funny when you go back and you look at John Candy was in it too.
Wow.
Yeah, and you go back and you look at the stuff. Okay, so Eric Stoltz is looking for all the hidden cameras in his apartment. Truman Show, early Truman Show
ripping
stuff.
his apartment apart.
Now he's really pissed because he's like, they saw me have whoopee with that girl. I don't like that.
Yeah.
They're gonna sell it later on.
Oh, I like that chair that he threw into the window. You remember those chairs, Rick? Those like metal one-piece chairs with the cushion in the backrest.
The legs like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can kind of bounce to them.
Yep.
Bounce on them.
A little bit springy.
A little springy.
It really surprises me how much I notice that kind of stuff, like those glass shower blocks and stuff in Rotor. And
they had a whole like wall of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
How do you not notice the most obvious thing in the corner mounted there? That hey, this might have a spy camera in it. Let's try it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a speaker or something.
Oh, yeah. When did they put this here?
I mean, yeah, like how did he
it.
not know that?
That kind of defeats the whole purpose of that scene of him trashing his whole place just to finally see the big 2-foot by 2-foot speaker in the corner.
I think he was just pissed off, and then
great shot of the villain's desk, the villain's sort of lair, like Dr. Claw from.
Yep. Any reputable villain has a nice desk in his
big
office.
Desk. Look at all those videotapes they have of him. That's the OnlyFans collection.
Yeah, it's like
all of him.
It's like bowel movements and everything else on there.
Yeah.
How many times do you think they got him on videotape doing other shit?
Well, he just moved in there recently, so Well, the most disturbing thing is like they were watching him since he was a little boy.
Yeah.
That's horrific. They've got his whole logs of Martin Brundle beat his meat yesterday at 1 p.m.
That's what I'm saying. Like
his resentment is just bubbling over. All right, what's that on his? I know must be some type of name tag or badge, but it looks like it flickers with all those different colors. You see that?
It's iridescent. Yeah, iridescent. Excuse me. And it's like his security clearance badge. That comes in later where they try to. Of course, they showed Stathis Barnes there, who lost his arm and foot in the original Fly movie. He was vomited on by Jeff Goldblum's Fly.
That's right, because it's acidic. Kind of burns him up.
And they showed a clip of him just now.
See, now he's going through some of the highlights of his upbringing in this lab environment, and he's very traumatic for him that he's been lied to the whole time.
Yes. I think next week we're going to have the...
just like I said.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, they're in trouble now, folks. They are in possession of child.
Well, he's a man. I mean, his physically, he's a man. He doesn't look like a child. So here we go, using a movie clip as like video foot. Now they're trying to say that they had video hidden cameras in Seth Brundle's flat too, which is conveniently framed just like the film.
That's kind of a disgusting shot because it looks like they kind of made the dog face look exactly like Jeff Goldblum there.
Oh yeah.
See the similarities in that one, Greg?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had to do this. It was for your own good.
Yeah.
All of this is for your own good.
We've been looking out for your best interest the whole time, Martin.
Yeah.
You have to understand, we're keeping you safe here. No, you're not. You're lying to me. You should have told me.
Yeah, they told him in this scene that his disease is irreversible, and the injections he's been getting his whole life are placebo. Sugar water, and they're not preventing his disease from accelerating. It was just a placebo, and he is going to turn into this monster, this fly hybrid, no matter what.
Like, look at his eyes and look at his cheeks. They're already starting to get a little red and discolored, and
he's looking very sullen. And essentially, the Bartok is telling him, "We are going to witness you turning into this beautiful monster." Like he's a true villain. Like he thinks that this transformation is beautiful, and he doesn't want to prevent it. He wants to usher in this new, maybe probably even weaponize whatever.
Oh yeah, they have to have a sinister motive.
Yeah. So he says, we're here to protect you. You're basically just another lab experiment, and if you can help us solve this technology problem, great. But no matter what, we're going to make money off you.
He's basically a living petri dish.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So
you should have told me. Damn it!
He's not happy.
He's angry.
And just like a 5-year-old, he's going to throw a temper tantrum.
He's throwing a tantrum, and I think they even reference that. They say this man-child threw a temper tantrum or something.
Watch these guys chasing him there. You see those lovely Chicago hats again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I mentioned that to you yesterday about how now that you told me that style of hat, I just see it everywhere. No, you brought attention to it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I could shed a little light on it.
Sure. What are the other style of hats that are common?
Lots of PDs, they just give you like a fitted baseball hat. So maybe it has like an embroidered image, like the Rock County patch that's on the shoulders. Lots of times those are just on the front of the baseball hat.
Yeah.
And when I worked in Jefferson, it just said JPD, and then I had my badge number across the back. But I had a big head though, so I never wore it. It didn't fit me.
Punched him right in the nose.
So JPD here, they have baseball hats here, right? They don't have
Yeah, a lot of them can choose to do that. I don't know if it's mandatory or not. Probably.
I don't think so. No. I see a lot of them without it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
because you know what happens with hats? They eventually get sweaty,
They get gross.
they get nasty.
Yeah.
But that's when they're the most comfortable. But they're not going to want you walking around looking dirty.
Here he made a sex joke about seeing his girlfriend and him have sex, and then Martin just picked up the security guard and yeeted over the balcony.
You
How
can
does he
definitely tell
know-
that's like that sugar glass, like the old beer bottle over the head type stuff. All
Right.
that fake glass has that certain light and sheen to it.
He just escaped from this whole facility, by the way.
Yeah, he's
Just broke out, just yeeted himself right off the cliff, and
I recognize this guy here in the
Pieced
brown
out.
leather jacket. That's the head of security. That guy, the blonde guy, that's a little cut
yeah.
up.
Oh, he looks like James Keach, like the Keach brothers. He looks like one of those guys, doesn't he?
Yeah, I just remember him from later in this movie. He's part of the big conflict.
Yeah.
There's Jeffrey Dahmer with a nice
He
haircut.
looks like him. But I think
he does look like Dahmer.
I had those glasses up until I was like 15. I'm pretty sure.
That's all that was available back then.
Yeah, that's all you got.
Yeah,
You
there
had
was-
two choices. You had those or the other ones that look almost just like them.
Yeah,
Maybe they're
exactly.
from gold to like silver or like
Yeah.
brown or something.
Exactly. And
Like
those
I
are,
had 3 glasses and those were it.
somehow that came back as a thing. I remember like when I was a kid, the glasses that I wear now, the old style 40s, 50s Ray-Ban glasses, they were not popular at all. In fact, you'd probably be ostracized if you wore frames like this when we were kids.
Oh, clearly.
But for some reason, those nasty frames like that were fine.
Yeah, and so you have to find glasses that fit your face. Like I have a big face, so small glasses would look weird on my big face, where bigger glasses
Maybe not.
fits my face.
It could be a
well.
look. If you got
Gotta
like
be symmetrical, yeah.
yeah, if you just got like little circles, it might be kind of cool. It could be a look for you.
You never know until you try it.
I used to have a smaller pair of glasses, and I think the bigger ones look a little better. They just kind of
You
fit
gotta
my
get
face
the
more.
circle ones or like the shapes or something.
Got to get some heart-shaped ones.
Get the heart shaped ones.
Oh, here's an idea. I'm going to bring back the monocle. It's not just going to be Mr. Peanut or the Monopoly guy. I'll bring back the monocle.
I could bring back the monocle. I only have one bad eye. It
That's
won't
true.
do shit for my eye, but
That's true. Can you see out of that eye?
barely.
You need to get
I
that.
can wear a monocle for my good eye.
Yeah. You can. Well, they're gonna make a bionic eye. They're working on that. Have you heard about that? It's gonna
No.
work in conjunction with the Elon Musk
No, I don't need him.
implant or
I
something.
I don't need Elon Musk in my brain.
No, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you a bionic eye. Fuck that. My daughter had eye surgery twice. She was born with drifting eye, they called it, and she had Martin Brundle looking really
Looking like
lumpy,
a mess.
looking real lumpy. He's taking too many PEDs. He's all lumpy there.
Yeah, his skin is kind of starting to look a little bubbly, a little corroded.
Yeah, but she had eye surgery when she was little, and twice, and they had to like trim the muscle in her eye, and as she grows older, it lengthens. Feel bad for her.
Yeah, definitely.
Here he comes. Here's explaining to his girlfriend
What just happened? Yeah, that
yeah.
they found a sex tape of us.
Yeah.
Then I didn't mean to record you without permission.
They're only going to charge $4.99 for it online.
But I did distribute it to 60 of my closest friends. You don't
Yeah,
mind,
well,
right?
right.
It's okay.
Give
They
you-
didn't see nothing
I'll give you a
anyway.
cut of the- No, no.
They saw her bare back. That's what they saw.
So yeah, pretty much. So, which is good. They're keeping the sex and nudity to a minimum in this one. They're focusing on the horror elements of it.
Yep, more of the violence, kind of the mutation.
She's like, I forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
Next time we can charge.
Yeah.
Make sure we can get an upkeep on this.
Cool set for her house here. They put her on a houseboat.
Yeah, look,
Looks
there's some
pretty
old
cool.
Wharf-looking buildings here in
Yeah.
the background.
Looks very cool. Probably taking advantage of the surroundings here. Again, the scene is lit very well.
Look at that wood-burning stove up on the raised
Oh,
platform.
I
Yeah,
didn't even
that's
see
cool
that.
as hell.
That's
very
awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Those things get super hot too. Like if you've ever been near one, you burn your legs to
Yeah.
next that thing, man.
Mhm.
That thing's super hot. But
The old television and the stereo equipment in the corner.
I was eyeballing that stereo equipment because this week I was looking around thrift stores for a cassette deck, and man, finding one of those that's functioning is super tough. There's right over there under my record player is the cassette deck, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Just doesn't work.
Dude, like it worked at the store. Like it was moving. The motor was moving, and when I got it here, I put a tape in. It doesn't do anything.
That's
So
frustrating.
it was very
That's frustrating, yeah.
And like at the time I didn't have any cassettes to test it out, and at Goodwill last week was just a treasure trove of cassette decks. There were so many to choose from, and I went back later in the weekend, and there was nothing.
I should have picked up that one at the thrift store.
Yeah,
right over by it. The look is probably not exactly what you wanted,
right.
but at least it works. Hopefully,
I have one, and you know what? We're gonna do a cassette review video here coming up soon. I'm writing that right now.
You know what? That's something we should all do sometime. Is go to like thrift store hunting.
We'll do thrift store hunting. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, look at that stained glass half moon window. Yeah. I like that.
It looks like the Deathly Hollow symbol for your Harry Potter fans.
It sure does. Yeah, it really does.
My mind wanders so much when I get older. And not even, why are they at the door? It's like, oh, look at the glass.
Well, that's okay. And they've got Eric Stoltz.
He's trying to find Jeff Goldblum to be his daddy.
Look at to be his sweaty chest hair daddy.
Sweaty chest hair daddy.
They got a really weird wig on him too. He looks like that Marty McFly hair. He looks like Michael J. Fox from the back, ironically.
Kind of looks like Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
The sweater vest and
Now here's John Getz reprising his role as the great sleazy Stathis Barnes.
And it looks like he kind of has a silver wolf head cane in his hand. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yep. He is
Talbot.
transforming.
Martin is aging at a rapid rate, or just declining.
And he's transforming as well. He's doing both, I think, at least simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of looks like an older Ace Hunter.
It looks like
he does a little bit, yeah.
Looks like a walking skeleton.
Martin does, yeah.
You notice I'm doing the thumb kiss now on every hello.
Yeah,
I'll always do my salute to Megaforce.
Thumb kiss.
The thumb kiss.
Yep. Again, and back to like that movie was shot terribly.
That was shot very terribly.
I mean, it's these conversations of these people when they're just shot from the back against these vehicles. You're like, what is happening? It was just so bad.
And after the last 2 weeks where we definitely had fun roasting the movies, at least we have something now where we can watch a movie that's entertaining on its own. Big step up in quality from The Fly 2 to
there's not much. There's not much to roast here. This has been a pretty solid movie so far.
It's a good movie. It's a good late '80s horror film.
Everything's done very beautifully. Yeah, like all the prosthetics, everything's shot very nicely. I can tell that somebody really cared about making this movie.
Yeah, Chris Walas, very talented effects guy.
The pacing of this movie is definitely slower because it's gradually building.
Well, it's on
tension.
point. It's on point for the story. So
I
think it's right where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But I don't find myself bored. I think this is just fine. Like I could be watching this at home in my living room right now, and it's keeping my full attention.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. Definitely this one. I was a little worried about this one because I knew that all the action really with these movies comes at the end in these 90s movies, whereas like the newer contemporary films, you get action consistently through the horror film to keep people's attention because apparently dialogue-driven movies are too much to ask for these days.
They don't do a lot of dialogue-driven movies anymore.
But because they're showing this from he comes in a horrific, unusual birth, he's aging and he's smart and all this stuff at the lab and then the stuff with his dog, and now he's changing and he's transforming, and then it shows the old footage of Jeff Goldblum. Mm-hmm. It keeps you riveted to what's happening to him the whole time.
It does.
At least for me.
No, it does. It really does. Where did he get that sweater?
Look at those riveted chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, aren't those beautiful?
Metal riveted chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, those curtains are horrific, though. Look at those curtains.
Those are terrible. I love them.
Yeah.
Those are either carrots or pineapples on there. I can't tell what they are.
No.
That's just
it looks like some kind of flower.
Flower? Okay.
But I'll tell you, if that was a wallpaper, it would be really cool. It would look really vintagey.
If it was in a bathroom or a kitchen.
Yeah, this man just broke in. Okay, so the guy, the main character, broke into this man's house. Why hasn't he called the cops yet?
Because he has had his foot and his hand vomited off, and he was in love with, of course, Gina Davis's character, Veronica, in the first film. And he just gave a lot of exposition, which is like, it's kind of it's a trope in films you go to another character explain.
For the exposition.
Just
the exposition dump.
Yeah, the exposition dump, just to verbally say, okay, this is what happened.
Everything that's going on.
Yeah. So, not a great choice.
Stuff that we've figured out, but the character has not.
Right. Which, I feel like is a little cheap. It's like when you have a film with too many phone calls.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a cheap way of not getting two characters in the same room as each other to have these conversations face to face. And I don't like it when they have to explain the plot.
Now we're seeing hairs kind of grow out of his face.
Well, he's got to learn somehow, right? So that's what it's doing usually.
Yeah.
He's pulling cotton right off of his face.
Yeah.
That is straight cotton.
Yeah. So they're getting a hotel room here, and they're gonna.
I think that sign on the door said recommended 1988. So this must have been in 88, because I believe The Fly was in 85. So 3 years after, here we are in the sequel.
Did you see it could have been the next year after too, or whatever.
I think it was shot in 87, released in 88 for sure. And 88 was a great year for horror films because that year They Live came out.
Oh yeah, the best fight sequence of all time with Roddy Piper and I think his name Keith David or David Keith.
Keith David.
Yep.
David Keith was the other guy who looks like Robert Wall. Yeah.
So now he's on a news release that he's escaped, so they're probably going to try to.
There's her face too.
Like a dangerous criminal at large. Be aware, be cautious, call if you see him.
Yep.
And it's only at a local motel that the guy takes care of you at the desk in his bathrobe.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, he lives right in the back.
Yeah.
He lives right there.
Yep.
Did you guys ever see that movie Vacancy with Luke Wilson and?
Oh yeah, Naomi Watts or something.
No. It's the.
Liv Tyler.
Is it? No, she was in Strangers. Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, okay.
Remember, it's like they have like they kill all these lodgers there and they kind of record it, so it's like a snuff industry.
Is that Vacancy or that's?
Yeah, that's Vacancy.
I have it. I threw it on one day and I think we didn't watch it, but
you probably threw it away.
Yeah, my wife likes that movie because she likes Kate Beckinsale and I do too. But that one I just found was really boring.
I mean, you can like an actor all you want. That doesn't forgive a piece of shit movie from being a piece of shit.
That's right.
That's true. I don't remember Vacancy. I can't remember if I liked it or not. I'd have to watch it again.
The fact that you don't remember it probably means that you didn't. Or that you didn't keep watching it once you
He
put
probably
it in.
watched 10 minutes of it and got bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Strangers that I threw on actually because
Liv Tyler is in the first Strangers.
That's what I threw on then because I didn't really care for that very much.
You know what I want for a new body horror movie in this style? So we're watching The Fly 2 or reminiscing of The Fly 1. I want the creation of the Mothman.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Remember Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had talked about that a couple episodes ago.
Everyone, I'm very pleased. I noticed a large fluorescent bug zapper outside their window, so they are definitely taking my advice. They're commenting. They're getting on the mosquito horde.
What if this guy gets distracted by that? Becomes too much of a fly.
I think that's what's
and he gets
happening
zapped.
here.
That's why we never had The Fly Part 3 because it ends with him.
Very wonderfully, beautifully lit shot here
that's wonderful.
Of Martin half cocooned, like his lower half is cocooned, and he's
got the purple light behind him.
Yeah, from the bug zapper, and he's got the warm light on the other side. Very much like we're doing in the studio lighting. Our studio lighting is inspired by the old Giallo films and mostly Creep Show. Just see your Creep Show shirt that you got going on there today. Cool.
Yeah, I was at the Exclusive Company earlier in this week, and they had kind of a deluxe version of Blood and Black Lace. I'm not sure if it was an Arrow release, but I have a cheaper version on DVD. But man, sometimes I just don't want to dump $30 on a Blu-ray. You know, it's hard.
It's a lot, man. Like, you know, and you can if I've got it up there, you can watch it. I think I have 2 copies of Blood and Black Lace. I have the steel book, and I've got just the plastic Arrow.
Yeah, I have just a cheap DVD copy.
That's all you need.
But it's such a great movie.
No, you don't need anything real fancy.
Unless you're buying a full set or something,
yeah.
You don't need nothing that fancy.
But the Exclusive can call me anytime they want because I'm eagerly awaiting Snow Beast and The Brain. I'm just chomping at the bit for both of those. I want them, and I wanted them yesterday.
That's why you got to go on Amazon, man, sometimes. I know you want to support local business. Definitely support local business for sure, but sometimes, man.
See, and then the problem I get...
Yeah, I tried to do that too. I tried to support local business, right? So I'll tell you a little bit of a story. Around my birthday, I was looking for the Tales from the Crypt, so I went to the bookstore around here. I went to both of them, and they didn't have it.
Ooh, pulled his eye out.
And I was looking for another book. It's called The Collector, and they didn't have that as well.
Oh, do you guys remember those horror movies? They made like 2 or 3 of the collector
yeah.
movies.
Was it different?
This one is a little different.
Oh, all right.
So, but I broke down and I went and got them on Amazon.
Yeah.
So I love online shopping because stores only have so much space for retail stores. And once something, if it's not a classic or if it's not a new release, you might not be able to find it. So I like the wide options that you can get from online, but I just revert back to my childhood where I hate waiting for something to come after I've paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've slowed down my online shopping to a halt. I don't really shop much online anymore.
I try not to.
Unless it's for the show. I do buy a lot of stuff for the show, whether it's cables or lights or whatever. Oh, here's a great reveal of
awesome cocoon.
The very
it's amazing.
Very cool. So she called Bartok to come and get him because he pulled his freaking eye out in front of her, and
but now he has 2 eyes again.
He grew another eye or whatever.
He had another. His real eye was underneath, and of course Eric Stoltz, no stranger to prosthetic makeup, being Rocky Dennis.
Yep, and the mask. Or, is it The Mask or just Mask?
Just Mask.
Just Mask.
Yeah. Sam Elliott and Cher were in that, weren't they?
Have you seen that?
No, I just kind of remember it a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, Sam Elliott was Gar.
Only Sam Elliott can play a guy named Gar.
He's reverting to his cocoon state where he was birthed and his giant shrimp cocoon.
But now when this thing opens, the little boy's not going to come out, folks. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Gar is like the coolest name ever.
It is.
That is a cool
name. It
name.
really is a cool name.
You either have to be a cowboy, old grizzled rancher like Sam Elliott, or a pirate. It's one of Gar or a cowboy.
Or the bass player from Megadeth. I think, or the drummer. Maybe it was the drummer or the bass player.
Yeah, Gar Samuelson. He died of heroin overdose, I think.
Can that be my new name from now on? Can I be Gar?
Chris Poland is the guy who died. Yeah, you should be Gar.
I should be Gar.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great name.
Gar Williams. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good name.
That is a good name. That could be your radio pseudonym, Gar Williams.
Definitely. You can be Smooth Balls.
Smooth Balls.
Smooth Balls.
He's already Robert Kopp too.
Oh, Robert Kopp's right. I'm sorry.
And I thought we covered that he was having the issues with the metal flakes at work.
That's right. Sandblasted balls.
Sandblasted balls.
There's a very creepy image of like him.
This is awesome. No, I love it.
It's very cool. He's cocooned up, and Bartok is talking to Martin. Oh, look at how
he's in a giant sack.
It's like clear. You can see like veins.
You can see the veins and stuff. That's awesome.
When I like that, it's almost like it's like a water
looking
or like a
from
ripple
the
shot.
inside.
Yeah.
Remember
she's getting washed off.
Yeah.
She's getting sterilized.
Sterilized. Gross.
Rick, do you remember some of those shots from old like 40s movies or something? They would kind of do like a ripple shot where it would kind of like stream and stuff.
Sure.
Like a dissolve or something between scenes or like a flashback. Sometimes did it for flashbacks.
Typically, you'd see that like in a dream sequence or a flashback or something like that. Very cool. Yeah. I like that. I like the way that.
Yeah, so that reminded me of that type of shot when you're seeing that guy's face through like that rippling kind of water type looking stuff from the cocoon.
So I don't know if you thought about it too much there, Robert Kopp, but they were having sweet love in that little room. There could be a fly 3 growing inside of her right now.
Oh, there could be subsequent generations of flies. Again, the problem all boils down to insects. They are infiltrating invasive species.
They're impregnating our women.
Look at that. That looks sinister.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. There's the third version of the cocoon. The first version half formed when he was in the hotel room. Second version where it was kind of like transparent. This is the very third version.
And here we go again. Awesome. We have the lady who is not paying attention.
Not paying attention. You got to pay attention.
At least she's awake. At least she's awake.
Yeah, she's awake.
At least she's awake.
If you have any type of job where you're at a facility that has some type of bad, questionable, or secret, dangerous shit going on, pay attention.
Yeah.
Oh, what is she doing? Well, okay, these are still, we still
at
got
least
some green lights.
At least she kind of was like, you saw her stretching, like signifying she was kind of tired or whatever. At least she stood up and decided to do something.
She did.
Is she going to open this cocoon?
Props to her. Of course, I don't know if she heard something going on with the monitor or whatever. Or she could be doing checkups every, 15 minutes or whatever.
She could be.
I hope she doesn't get killed. Although any of these lab people might just be
they're all expendable.
Guilty by association.
Yeah. I mean, everybody in here except for, these movies are all cannon fodder. If you have a monster movie.
Most of these people are expendable until you get to the love interest.
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe the main bad guy where they start doing whatever with them.
Otherwise, they just exist for a
Yeah, they're
series
just
of
there.
physical shots, like a severed arm or a split head. Or
The and the limited cast here just gives more money to.
She must have
for
heard something. She kind of
special
jump
effects.
scared there.
And I actually think
Yeah.
it looked like it pulsed a little bit, like it quivered.
That's very cool. It's very like it looks like a biomech.
That's a giant ass needle. How would
It's
you
a-
like to have that shoved right into you?
Oh man.
A new COVID shot.
It kind of reminds me of like the pod from
Oh, she's
Gremlins.
gonna pull out
Yeah.
some. She's gonna pull out some goop.
Some goo. It does look like the Gremlins.
Pseudopod.
Very, very, very much looks like that. This is like very bloody and visceral looking. It's very gross.
Kind of looks like it's covered with tumors on the outside.
Yeah, very gross. Look, there's a light inside of it that's like
Yeah,
sort of glow. It's very subtle.
He's pulsing.
Yeah.
It's alive.
The cocoon is pulsing.
One of my favorite cocoons from any movie, probably Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I love it.
The
Yeah.
cotton candy cocoon.
Yeah, the cotton candy
Yeah.
cocoons are amazing.
Oh, very gross.
There's
Oh,
yesterday's
It's coming
milk.
Yeah.
Snot, phlegm.
Of course, in the original Fly, at the very end, Jeff Goldblum's transformation into Brundlefly was very gross, and his flesh slid off of his body and had pus and bug arms coming through, and
She doesn't see the goop because she's
She
on
does
the other
not.
side.
Yeah.
yeah.
I bet it would stink though. It would have to smell really bad.
Yeah, you would have to smell
Oh
something.
yeah.
And then, is that an arm poking out there?
Like
why
a
is she
foot.
the,
There's some more goop.
and why is she the only one on duty?
Yeah, that's really weird.
Okay,
Things
lady,
always happen at late nights.
You've
Yeah.
done everything you could. You can get away now.
And here
Okay,
he
so
comes.
this is really awesome. This is kind of reminiscent of the Frank birth scene that I was talking about.
Yeah,
the Frank
yeah.
rebirth scene.
Yep, very gross.
The monster coming out of the cocoon here,
Yeah.
all slimy and goopy.
Oh,
Yeeted
man.
her up against the wall. Amazing.
It strikes lightning fast, and its mouth kind of opened up like a fly trap.
Mhm.
He was
Venus
hungry.
Flytrap.
Mm-hmm.
He was hungry, and she was the snack.
And she was she was the one who was administering his placebo shot as a kid, so he was always very angry with her, never liked her. And this, of course, is the jagoff doctor he always hated.
Let's see this prick get killed. I told him I didn't want to have to carry 5 binders today. This is bullshit.
Seriously, Dennis Nilsson here
Yeah.
walking into he's like, Martin,
Where are you?
where are you?
Are you in here? No, that's copyrighted. We can't use that.
Oh, is that true? You can't.
So I can't even imitate the sound of.
No.
No. See, nobody has any fun anymore. No one's got a sense of humor.
I know, right?
Like, lighten up.
We can't use that. That's too famous.
Um,
Everybody knows that. Unless we're gonna watch Jason Goes to Hell, or Jason X, I should say.
which we have right here on the
Yeah.
desktop, of course, in the Scream Factory big box, Friday the 13th big box here with Jason X on Blu-ray.
Talking about
Ooh.
body possession. That's there's a Jason one with that, right?
Jason
Isn't that-
Goes to
And
Hell.
Jason Goes to Hell, yeah, he eats his heart, right?
Yeah.
And
he
becomes
eats his heart
Jason.
and becomes Jason.
I
I
saw
always
that.
saw the female scientist hanging from the ceiling in this big bloody puddle and flesh and everything down below.
I saw that in the theater. Was that 3D? Jason Goes to Hell.
No, part 3 was. back in-
Part 3 was
Yeah, 3
Jason
was
3D.
3D.
Yeah. But I remember there was that weird shot in the end with all the snakes, like right. It was like coming at the screen. I thought that might have been like a 3D.
It might have been a little bit.
Those are like hell snakes or something in there.
I don't remember.
kind of demons that come out of the ground. And
Yeah.
that's- That's where Freddy Krueger's gloved hand comes up and pulls his
Oh.
mask down. So that's where they introduced the Freddy versus Jason conflict for the
I
first
forgot
time.
about
in
that.
93.
Yeah, but then they waited a whole nother Jason movie.
They waited.
yeah.
They waited almost 10 years to
That's
pay
right.
that because they had
pay that
Jason
off.
X after that.
Yeah,
Sure.
They had Jason X after that,
Yeah.
and
Then they did it.
then it was later on.
'Cause
It was still years after even Jason
Yeah,
X.
because I was like a couple of years out of high school when I saw Jason X, and then I didn't see. I mean, Jason Goes to Hell, and I didn't see Freddy vs. Jason until Christ, my kid was like 5 years old or
Yeah.
something. You
Yeah,
know?
that's somewhere around like 2003, something like that.
Yeah. Well, she was just born in 2003. So here we go. There, the hunt is on for
There's another
Brundlefly.
Good doggo here.
Oh, doggo.
Nice
friend.
Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Greg,
looks
did you
happy
see?
to be here.
Looks like these security guys have MP5s, little
Yep.
submachine guns.
Oh, okay.
Looks like MP5s.
MP5s.
They shoot 9mm pistol ammo, so
Okay.
good close range weapon. But if they're shooting long range,
Terrible.
not going
Really?
to work.
You ever shot one of those?
No,
about
not
you?
an MP5.
Nope, I've never shot submachine gun pistols, rifles, shotguns, M16s and stuff like that. But no, never had any submachine guns.
Oh.
But we'll get a bunch.
Pistols, rifles, big ass machine guns.
Ooh, first shot of the face. Very cool fly monster design. For
It almost looks like
very cool.
That's bad on your knees.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a
Got
sinister.
the fly arms.
He looks
Sinister
so
monster.
cool.
Looks like no wings.
I highly recommend picking up the DVD or Blu-ray version of this film to see the behind the scenes. Oh,
He's gonna pet the dog.
because he loves dogs.
Oh, see, I like that. I'm glad he's not killing the dog. So
No.
he still
The dog did nothing.
has a little bit of his inner human. He can appreciate the dog.
He
He's
loves
not
dogs.
a complete monster.
No. Pick up the special edition of this one to watch these for the original concept art for Brundlefly. They had some really cool statues and maquettes made up for the fly.
For this
creature.
version of the fly?
Yeah, they
Awesome.
had a lot of cool concept art.
I would love to see like a storyboard of this, because they always have to draw a film for like
Mhm.
ideas on how they're going to shoot it. So I
Mhm.
bet the storyboards would be really cool.
It's interesting. I think that film that the edition might have that. I think we have on the desk the Fly box set.
I thought those were the old ones, like the 50s ones. Or no, it looks like they're in there. Excuse me.
Yeah, let's pull this out quick. Can you grab that?
Pardon me if you hear any static or
Yeah.
scraping.
So we have the Fly collection here. It's very cool. You can't see it, but this has the Fly, Return of the Fly, Curse of the Fly, 86 Fly, and Fly 2. So we'll see.
Nice.
It doesn't have the remake.
It does.
It had the John.
Yep. It's
Awesome.
Yeah. So if either of you guys ever want to watch these movies, let me know. You can watch them. Take them home with you. Lots of cool special features in here, which I can't read because I'm under a purple light and then red
It's got
white lettering and red text.
Red box.
I can't read it.
Hey, pass it over here. Let me see if I can get a shot at it.
Check that out.
It's pretty hard to see anything in here.
All right, I'm not going to highlight them all, but I'll just touch base on it a little bit. New interview with the writer, has an alternate ending, deleted scenes, The Fly Papers, the Buzz in Hollywood's Scariest Insect, and it also has a vintage featurette.
There you go.
Just to name a few. I didn't go through all of them.
Lots of stuff here. Very cool, but some iconic artwork there. Yeah, like father, like son. Very cool.
Greg, this probably bugs you too, but you see those guys, they always hold their guns with the muzzle pointed upward.
Pointed up, yeah.
No.
So strange.
Does
Yeah,
that
you
bug
can't-
you?
Well, you can't do it
Yeah,
because
you always got to point it downwards.
you
can't
got to have
over-
muzzle discipline.
Yeah.
Never
It's
want your
muzzle and trigger discipline. So
Yes.
what they're doing with the triggers is actually right. They don't have
their
what
finger
they
on
would
the-
call your booger hook or your finger on the trigger.
But you never want your muzzle to cross something you don't intend to destroy.
Yep.
So keep it pointed down at the floor.
Cool.
Oh, look at that. He's picking that douche up by
putting
his
them up
fly,
by-
by his necktie.
Necktie. That's amazing.
I forgot how much I liked the creature effects from this movie.
They're very cool.
They're very good.
It is a straight traditional monster movie.
And
it's-
again, my
So-
mind takes me to the Gremlins. The
Yeah.
face looks so much like the Gremlin.
Yeah.
Is this a puppet too? Is this
It's
or
partly
part puppet and part something?
part animatronic. I think there's a mixture of a bunch of things.
Yeah,
They have
because
like
it looks like if you shoot him from like far away, he's probably like whatever. He's probably
Yeah. I don't know what the term is
something
if it's
small
if it's
or animatronic or whatever.
if it's a gimbal. I'm not sure what the term is they use for that, where they're walking on they're using like poles to move his
Yeah.
legs for the close-up shots. Then they've got like the puppetry, and then they've got the head, and
Why is that guy sticking to the side of the metal rail? He didn't get impaled on anything.
yeah, well,
No, he
you know,
produces goop.
He's
So
got
that's
goop
why
on him.
he just
He just
from
gooped him.
just from the fly touching him,
Yeah.
He
whipped
sure
him up
did.
against there.
He's just gooping people.
Now that MP5 would shred that thing at close range, wouldn't it, Greg? If you hit it in the torso, that would really
Oh,
tear it up.
yeah, it all depends though. How indestructible do you want to make your monster?
Probably, I would imagine he's not bulletproof.
Well,
No.
no, but
No, so he's going to use the environment, like corners and the ceiling, and
this guy is making himself an absolute huge target by walking this slow, though. He's jumping around doorways and just standing there.
Did you guys do that metering, like if you come to a doorway where you constantly kind of peek around the corner and gradually?
Yep. You gotta pie it and then you gotta go.
Oh,
yeah, see, there's the goop right there. He just gooped him right in the face.
He sprayed him with the
acidic slime,
acid, and he pulled it.
Awesome.
Oh man!
Just turned his face into it. That's amazing.
Yeah, he pulled his face right off. That was my favorite scene.
Melted his face off right there.
My favorite scene in the movie. I used to draw that when I was a kid. I would draw him pulling his own.
Raiders of the Lost Ark eat your hearts out.
Very similar.
That melting scene at the end of that looks like child's play compared to this.
Yes, very cool.
That's very awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to yell into the mic.
No, that's
fine. That is a really cool image.
Very cool.
So you can definitely tell if somebody took their time with this.
I really like the set here too for the final confrontation because they've got this graded elevator.
It reminds me of like a mining elevator.
It's very cool.
Looks like they're back at the
lab.
At the
lab.
The testing lab.
Yep.
I thought there was something in here where one of the main bad guys had like a shotgun and he got his arm or hand bit off. Or am I thinking of the first one?
No, that's in this one, I think.
That is in this one?
It does happen at the end. I can't remember. Pretty sure.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But everybody here has the MP5s.
Yeah, all these guys have MP5s.
Yeah, that would be the shot where you've got the guy.
Yeah, so the legs are just the poles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love how they have its like head like stooped between the shoulders. It just walks like an alien.
Yeah, just this is the way I want to see monster movies. As epic as some of the CGI can be. Just give me something like this with an enclosed space and a real puppet.
Yes,
I'm a huge fan.
I am too. I think that's something that we've lost. When you can use computer software to create almost anything, this stuff shows that somebody had to take the time and know how to make this stuff and how to assemble it and do it.
Yeah, and it's so much more cost efficient to do it like that.
It's okay to mix in some like CGI and some practical, I think. And I think it would just make it look a lot better though.
Oh yeah.
I just think if you rely too much on CGI, then it's just.
That's a really cool shot. How it comes down through the skylight.
I like the mouth. It's kind of like
the jaws.
That kind of has
like the predator jaw.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was like a callback to the first Fly.
Oh yeah, so it's not bullet resistant. We just hit it.
You just shot it
right
through the back.
Side, and then damaged the telepod there.
Why did he stop shooting, Greg? He hit him once. Why didn't he give him like 3 or 4 more?
Bartok doesn't want him killed.
Yeah, they don't want him destroyed.
Oh, so maybe they want to try to knock it back into that booth, or
they want to subdue him, but they don't want to kill him.
Yeah, they want to weaponize him, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's gonna watch this guy get crushed by the elevator here.
Oh man!
Cut his head right in half, like from the nose.
Yeah, crazy.
He wouldn't hit anything.
Now he's just wasting ammo. Okay.
He's just spraying. Yeah.
Yeah, I want him alive, damn you, he says.
Listen, don't you talk to me this way. I'm wearing a nice leather jacket. I don't need to take your shit.
He's like, don't forget to load.
It's like, yeah, I know that. Bartok, what do you think I am?
Look at that goopy effects right there. That's amazing.
Look at the goo.
The bloody
That's some strawberry jam.
Yeah, seriously. The radar's been jammed.
I'll put that on my toast.
Yeah. Somebody smashed a red pumpkin. Kind of has that feel to it.
Definitely. Well, speaking of Halloween, pumpkins, Halloween's coming up very soon. I'm very excited. I don't know about you guys, but
oh yeah, I got some orange Halloween lights for my wife. We put them up in our apartment. Nice. She loves decorating for Halloween. She has like the little pumpkin figures or all kinds of just different assorted stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, I always encourage her to do that.
Nice.
We haven't put up any official like autumn stuff yet, but it'll probably happen next weekend.
Nice.
And she loves pumpkin spice coffee and all that stuff. And
yeah, my wife does too.
Really? I can't stand it.
No, me neither.
I don't really care for it,
dude. It just tastes like I'm drinking a candle or something.
But it's not.
I like the smell of it because it smells like
the smell is amazing.
I agree with you, but yeah, I just don't like the taste.
I don't like it.
I wish it just tasted like a pumpkin like pie, and it doesn't.
No, I don't like pumpkin pie either. I'm sorry, I don't.
Nope, I don't like it either.
I like it.
Nope, give me apple pie any day.
I mean, I like apple.
Yep, peach pie too, or
Yeah.
Any of that.
Key lime or
pecan pie. I like pecan
strawberry
pie.
or blueberry or you
any
know.
kind of pie.
And I take my coffee just black. I don't even put anything in it.
I gotta put a little bit of sweetener stuff in there.
Oh, I'm sweet enough.
I like it creamy.
I like it creamy.
Of course, I've been switched to these these almond milk iced lattes recently, and I finally found a coffee that I like that I'm sticking with. That's tasty, consistent.
Have you ever tried that Intelligentsia?
No, what is that?
That's a brand. That's the name of it. I knew an officer from Stoughton when I interned there, and we talked about coffee a lot. And he said, "Oh, you got to get Intelligentsia."
So what did you find, Rick? What's the recommendation?
Yeah, what coffee is it that you stick with? What's the one that you really like?
I've just been doing the iced almond milk latte. I've tried it from Bodacious Brew here in town. It's very good. Even Starbucks, even Dunkin', is a little more sweet than I like. I have to tell them don't make it as sweet. But all three places I have found the consistency. If I get the same coffee at every location, it's relatively the
Pretty
same.
good.
Yeah, except Bodacious, of course, is a little bit better. It's a little bit stronger. Tastes better.
They make their coffee really good over there.
It's very good. Very, very good coffee.
So do you buy supermarket coffee?
I do. I buy K-Cups, and I also buy Bears Brothers Highlander Grog.
Okay, so that's like your go-to one?
That's my go-to, Bears Brothers.
I'll recommend you something. So you go to 808, and they actually have cold brew there.
They do?
They have cold brew.
Like daily cold brew?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm going. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have cold brew, and then you got flavor shots in there. I've had their caramel, and it's wonderful.
That sounds good. I'll go there tomorrow morning before work. I did not realize they had coffee there.
Yeah, it's only cold brew though. That's all. That's all they have.
That's fine with me.
They have cold brew, and they have this stuff called Pog Juice.
The head of security accidentally shot a doctor. Then the fly grabbed him and snapped his spine, bent him 90 degrees backwards.
Like crumpled him in half. What really cool. He does look very much like the Predator, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does.
He just ragdolled the.
Like if the Predator was guy. like a vine or a plant, kind of twisted.
I kind of wish he would have had a gorier ending, that guy, because he was such a bastard. But
you should have ripped him in half or something.
Yeah,
pulled his arms off. But still, I mean, we all can cringe at the thought of a snapped spine.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad. It's definitely bad. He's got the guy stunned. He
just tased her.
Princess Vespa.
You can't do that.
You can't
She's
stun
a princess.
Not the princess. And here he comes. He's got 6 arms too. It's super cool. But they didn't give him any wings. Here's the great
they don't have any wings.
Yeah. Look at that great
shot. So you
shot.
can tell that they had probably a different couple sizes of this fly here because you shoot him from far away. You can kind of tell he's a little bit small. And then you got just like the upper portion and maybe just the bottom portion.
Yep.
And he's using a Desert Eagle there, so that should really put big holes in him.
He just shot him.
Oh, he
shot the fly.
Twice. Plus he was hit once before by the...
by the MP5.
Yep.
By one of the MP5s.
Full body shot here. You get a really good close-up view of how like just bony and gnarly with all the spikes and stuff on him.
Yeah, it looks like it comes out of his knees and the sides of his legs.
It's very cool. He looks like an alien.
He looks like something from out of this world. That's
he's
really
so cool. He's all like glistening, and they sprayed him down with the whatever.
You should have got one of these action figures, Rick.
I have the Brundle fly, but I don't know if they made one of these fly too. But he would have been awesome if they did.
Yeah. That would have been amazing.
Do you guys remember the movie Maniacs figures from the early 2000s? Like the Leatherface and the Scream? Do you remember those?
No.
6-inch, really? Those are I have a bunch of those.
I had the Leatherface one.
I got a bunch of them. They're all the size of that Hellraiser. They're all like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to take his father figure here.
Yep. So the plan then, like they showed earlier, is he's gonna
swap his genes.
He's gonna swap his genes.
So this guy will become the next horrible mutant,
just like the dog.
Well, he deserves it.
He does deserve it.
He absolutely does deserve it. He deserves worse than this.
And this is a good callback, I think, to the first film, because this was the goal of Seth Brundle in the first movie, was to fuse all 3 of them together
in a big love triangle.
The baby of Veronica and Brundle. But this is different. He's
not
just trying
working.
No. He's trying to
I think they're cutting the power though. That's what they saw. or he's telling her to hit the button.
Because it looked like they were welding through something using a cutting torch.
I think they're just trying to get in.
All right.
Okay, so she hit enter, and it's gonna. It's counting down now.
Oh, you could read his mouth. No.
Yeah.
He's screaming in protest.
That's some bad blood.
It looks
effects,
bad.
though,
Yeah, it's
on
like
her.
it's bad.
Looks cheap there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like jelly.
See, why cut the corner on that one when everything else just looks so good?
Very cool shot. Oh yeah, look at that.
Overall, everything looks all awesome. I just called out one little bad thing. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, if that's
I
all
can
we have-
overlook that.
if that's all we have
that's
to
a
gripe
small-
about, we're all right.
That's a small little detail.
Another close-up shot of the cool little door mechanism opening on the telepod.
Yeah,
Man, you know what? These machines, they
The
look
big-
amazing.
They do look really good. The big reveal here, the monster coming out of the telepod. Of course, in the end of The Fly, the door was open when he teleported. He transported. So
What was that
part of
thing
the
that we just saw
telepod.
fall down in the background? Something.
that there's two of them in there. So it's
Yeah.
actually him, and he transmuted his mutant DNA to the host subject.
Yeah,
Oh, look at
the guy
this.
who is basically like his father figure the whole time.
Yeah, so that's him now in front as Bartok is mutated into
And he's It looks like he's
melted in a pizza.
melted into like Pizza the Hut.
Man,
Pizza the Hut.
She must really love him. She's peeling off all this nasty shit.
And that also cures him of his aging disease, so he'll no longer age
He'll
quickly.
be 5 forever.
He'll age normally, which is kind of a. I mean, it's good that he saved himself, but also kind of a bum deal because he missed like 20 years of his life.
Yeah.
Think of it that way. But they get to live happily ever after. Clean that shit out of his ear, and you'll all be good.
Yeah, he's got to go take a shower. Seriously.
Oh yeah,
He's repulsive.
he looks terrible.
He looks like he just like
Don't kiss him.
got placenta.
Oh, yeah,
all
please
over.
don't kiss him.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Kiss-
Oh, she did it
Ew.
anyway.
Gross. But there's a final shot there of the.
Well, if you want your specimen so much, there he is.
Yeah, cool little they have the little vignette lighting there, zeroing in on there. And here's the new research team looking down into the pit that once housed Martin Brundle's dog.
Now it has the Bartok worm.
Here comes Bartok Worm.
This looks like the pit in Return of the Jedi. Remember where he fights that big brown
Oh, yeah.
monster?
Yeah, very similar to
He's
that.
just crawling. That is a very slow crawl.
Yep, he's
He was elderly when he got transformed.
yeah. This must have been some brutal makeup to be inside that thing.
Oh,
Like
good
that?
lord.
And he's howling like the dog thing. Look at that face on that.
That is a
Horrible thing.
terrible creature.
But he does have the fly eye, like the Martin Brunt, like the
Yeah.
eye of it. It looks like
Sure.
a bit of it in there.
Well, the other
Um,
looks.
Otherwise,
somewhat
it just
human.
looks like a giant mess.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a slimy, disgusting image.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And here we go. The final shot here of the film with Bartok's eye going to be eating food out of the dish.
So I'm wrong. I'm thinking of the end of the first one. I must be thinking of the guy that lost his hand. That must have been the guy
yeah.
that we saw with drinking the scotch and that.
Yeah.
house.
That does have. See, in
Close up on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
End of the movie.
Yeah, in the original Fly, Seth Barnes he's puked on his hand and then he puked on his foot. He did have a shotgun. That's what
I was thinking of.
He shot at the cords and blew up the power cables, and then the door didn't close all the way. So when they teleported, half of the door got stuck in his body when he came out, and he was all fused with the telepod. And
So for any
that was
fans,
the Fly too.
for any fans that didn't watch this and are wondering if you should watch this, I would recommend this movie.
Oh, I
100%.
100% agree. This is better than I remember it being.
Yeah.
Everything was shot so beautiful. The practical effects were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember
I don't have
that
a
I
bad
liked
thing to really say about this
No.
movie. So
No, not at all.
it. Me neither.
No, not at all. The acting, it's a little bit corny when you watch it. When you rewatch it again, if you actually listen to the audio, a little corny. But that, you know what?
you can get over that pretty well.
Take it.
Yeah.
As far as I definitely recommend this film, and I recommend this Fly Collection box set, which is relatively cheap. Still, I thought this was going to be. Some of these are going now for several $100s, but this is now only about $30, $40, $50. You can pick this up, maybe even cheaper for this 5-film set that has the whole series from the original '50s version to the last version, Fly 2.
Encompassing about 30 years of films there.
Yeah, 100%.
So
So
I don't know that you need to like the original with Jeff Goldblum or watch that one to enjoy this movie. If
you
you want,
don't.
no, if you want a good
I don't think
compare and
so,
contrast,
but I don't think it would like hurt either to
Yeah.
know what's going on.
They're
But,
they're
yeah.
very different films.
They are very different.
This the very
You can pick up the same concept from them, though.
Yep. The
I
very
think you made an excellent choice to not have a random viewing, to just kind of give us something a little different after our last couple episodes.
little different.
I like the call you made. Good choice, Rick.
Thank you. I wanted to go back to horror. While the action adventure stuff is fun, horror is kind of where it's always been at for me. And now that we're getting into the Halloween season, horror is in the air.
I
If you
wouldn't
would've
mind
put it-
if we even modified our list to focus on the season change.
Do you want to do that? You want to scrap the list?
I was
Do
about
a
to
new list?
say, if you would have updated the list, mine had a little bit of horror in there.
Let's
we
do
could
that.
have threw in, but we could do that once we get done.
Let's do that. We can.
We can update the list.
I think there's three of us here, so I think each of us put in 3 movies. That'll give us 9 episodes, about 2 months worth of material.
But if we want to specialize on something, say if you want to do that like during October, we want to do all horror movies during October.
Oh, we're definitely doing. We should do.
So we
Halloween
could all do
films.
Halloween films,
Yeah.
Halloween style films anyway,
Maybe
or
lesser
inspired
known.
films
Yeah.
during October. But we
Mhm.
can,
Yeah.
I don't mind doing action adventure, but yeah,
Every now and then. Yeah.
Creature
Yeah.
features they lend themselves to just
Let's
they're
do
so
that.
unique.
Let's do that. So next week we'll be back with another creature feature. So into the Halloween season, we'll give our fans an extra month of Halloween, and because it'll be September by the time we're back.
because I know in my list I did have a couple like creature feature movies,
Lamageddon.
like Lamageddon
What was
and like
your-
Wolf Cop,
Okay, Wolf
and
Cop.
then,
All right. Okay, we'll definitely do Wolf Cop.
because that one was great.
Okay,
And
I haven't
then,
seen that, so
Yeah,
we'll do that.
So of course the
And
music festival, Lollapalooza.
yeah, the Velocipaster.
Velocipaster. Yep. I updated my library on here, so
The Fog with the 1980 Fog is great.
the 1980 Fog is my favorite Carpenter film. Everyone says Halloween, They Live, but this one flies under everyone's radar. This Fog, and I love it because I really enjoy the commentary track with John Carpenter and Deborah Hill on this film.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. Hal Holbrook is in it. It's kind of a good local
Yeah.
myth about a crashed
pirate ship.
like a leper colony that crashed,
Right.
and then they kind of wreak vengeance on the community on the
In fact-
100-year anniversary or something.
They had to reshoot half of this movie and add in the ghosts, like the visceral stuff, because there was none of it originally. It was just a fog killing people, and then they got notes back saying, "Well, we don't want that. We want something more gory."
Yeah.
So he had to do all that the hands with the hooks and all stuff
Yep,
like
the
that.
swords and everything.
swords and all that. So very cool. So we'll do. I have so many. I've got thousands of movies.
Well, what was that? Food of the Gods Part 2. What was that?
This is
Killer
a
Rats?
Killer Rats. Where is that?
Go up
Food of
one
the-
and
there
then
it is. Yeah,
left,
this is a killer. There's 2 of these, 1 and 2.
Are they good?
No,
They look like they're terrible.
they're awful. But they're. I mean, this and then the '89 version is, of course, a little bit, cleaner.
Sure. 13 years of technology.
Mm-hmm. And as you see here, like, we'll never run out of things to watch because Forgotten Warrior 1986. What the hell? I've never heard of that. No idea what that is. We'll watch that someday. And I don't know what I would pick. I don't think I'd watch any of these Hammer.
No.
You don't want to watch any of the Hammer stuff because
No.
I think I did put one of the. I think I put Creature of the Black Lagoon on mine. Though,
That I
because-
would do.
because it's such a classic.
I think Scars of Dracula would be okay because I think that's the best Christopher Lee Dracula Hammer horror film.
Those are good to watch
Yeah,
to enjoy on your own.
they're good for what
You
they
know?
are, but
Because I like them. They're so slow and
Yeah.
pokey. But I don't know. Halloween-
Fright Night 2011. What do we got there?
Yeah, this was the Fright Night remake with Colin Farrell and McLovin
nice.
and Tom Holland. Oh, I forgot Tom Holland. Oh, Tom Holland, the writer.
Is it good? Or
Anton Yelkin. Rip Anton Yelkin. He died. Do you remember? Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen this one.
I don't remember if I liked it or not. But Toni Collette, always solid. David Tennant, of
I
course,
could- yeah.
solid.
He's solid.
Yeah,
I
real
couldn't tell
good.
you if I like this one or not. Even with all these big names in there like that.
Oh, Chris Sarandon is back.
JD, yeah, as a nod to Jerry Dandridge. So I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the '85 Fright Night.
Yeah, I'd have to watch this again. I know that this Fright Night, I want a 3-hour cut of this movie. That's really what I want. I don't want to remake.
From 1985.
Yeah. This is a 3-hour cut. That's what I really want.
So I unintentionally picked up Fright Night 2 from 2013.
Frostbitten.
Good. That's good.
That looks like it's terrible. Frostbitten.
Oh God, this has got to be terrible, dude.
Oh, it can't be any worse than Jack Frost, the Killer Snowman.
Yeah. I think
but that's about vampires right there, Frostbitten.
Yeah. My pick, I think, will be Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat.
The heavy metal horror movie with Ozzy Osbourne.
Nice.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I know the cover of it. Gene Simmons is in it too.
He's in it. Him and Ozzy are in it briefly, but this is a classic. Has anyone ever seen Gargoyles from 1972? That's
No.
good. It's got Bernie Casey as the gargoyle. It's pretty cool. It's a made-for-TV horror film, and yeah.
So when should we have our new list?
Next week we'll come at you with a new list.
Yeah, we can just do it right when we get off the air. Actually,
Yep.
it doesn't really
Perfect.
matter.
Yeah, you guys gather your things and send them over, and we'll get them going. And so before we head out here, I'd like to plug again, friend of the channel, Toe I Ear. Check Toe I Ear out on Instagram, toe.i.ear on Instagram, Facebook for all your horror merch needs. Longtime friend of the channel. And at some point, we'll do some T-shirt collaborations with the Toe.
You know what?
Sending us some T-shirts.
I looked at his stuff, and I'm gonna get one of his T-shirts one of these days.
Yeah,
when I have
please do.
some actual money.
Definitely.
Can you guys kind of briefly explain what type of stuff he makes? Because I don't have all the outlets.
So
that you guys
he
do.
has like all these designs for like classic horror like T-shirts and stuff, like the werewolf and the vampire. That's all like Nosferatu-y. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
It's really different.
So good subject matter, right up my alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. He does check
The first time I heard that, it was really weird, but it's actually just toe, like your toe, and then your eye, and then your ear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah.
Which it's actually, that's a joke dating back to our childhood. He and I we're childhood friends, and I can't remember. I think honestly it was something that he started when we were stoned as teenagers. So a lifelong friend
and he
of
just
mine.
kept up with it.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things. And I think that was going to be our film production name too. When we were making movies, but
Awesome.
Yeah, please check out his Facebook channel, his Facebook and his Instagram to keep up with his Monster Meatball Movie Madness Night every last Tuesday of the month.
Again, that just sounds amazing.
Yeah, and he suggested that we do our own live show at a bar. If we find a bar somewhere, they have a viewing of a movie. And we talk about
permission?
it.
We'd have to ask them if we could do it.
Yeah. And then we do make our commentaries and we talk to people and we film it and do a live session for people at some point. I think it would be really cool to do at some point.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
If we get enough people who are interested in that.
Yeah. Once we grow the channel grows a bit more, and it could be a good way to grow the channel by getting exposure by doing something like that.
Did I actually tell you my wife's grandparents watched some of our episodes and said, "Man, you guys are having a lot of fun. We can tell you really enjoy it." And I even gave them a warning that a lot of our humor is a little crude.
It's a little blue.
Yeah, but they still liked it a lot. They said, "You guys do a good job."
Good feedback.
If anybody's interested in reading anything, I do toofatfortechnology.blogspot.com. I have a few articles on some follow-up stuff we've watched, and I also have some music-related stuff, and I even talked about Conan the Destroyer and the 1983 post-apocalyptic The Day After.
Nice. And you can listen to us.
So, if you guys want to follow us, speaking of social medias, if you want to follow our social medias, we're at Too Fat to Skate Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And then if you want to email us, it's toofattosskatepodcast@gmail.com. So please tell Rick what a sultry, lovely voice he has.
Yes, please do.
Okay, that was creepy. That's not when it's natural. It just comes across as so great. But we try to make it
when
happen.
it's intentional, then it makes everyone upset.
No, yeah.
So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching our show on YouTube and listening to our podcasts. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Until next week.
Yeah, pick up The Fly too.
Yeah, watch The Fly too. Bye.
Bye.